teammates and chart.
Taylor had a really good idea. She put out a list of offensive and defensive exits from Alabama off the two deep chart. What's going on there? So I'm gonna look at that. Is there anybody you think that could be a big name that you're looking at that still is out there that is next to leave? Anybody
from Alabama?
Alabama, anywhere.
I mean, you named a couple big ones. If you start picking off some of these running backs, that would hurt. I don't know. You'll just have to see in the spring. I mean, again, I don't think this is over by any stretch of the imagination, because here's what happens. Whatever's left of this roster, how many guys, I mean, what are the odds that all 100% of them are going to say, you know what, I really like this DeBoer guy. I think I'm going to stick around. And they're going to take time to get to know him, and they may just not like his approach. They may not like where they stand in his eyes, and they're out again in spring. So this is going to fire back up in spring. Now, the good news for Alabama in spring is you're on a level playing field at that point. I can go get from other schools where I can't right now. So you'll be able to combat it more in spring than you are right now. That's the good news for Alabama.
It does seem like Lawson and Campbell at tight end, Malachi Moore as the star position, Jalen Milroe and Tyler Booker, those five guys seem like they've re-upped and committed. So Deontay Lawson out of the mix. I think Jahad Campbell has had a pretty outspoken stance on staying at Alabama too. Jaheim Otis may be a guy. I'd love to see him hang around. He's obviously his future's in front of him. And then offensively, feels like, other than Booker, it feels like they're bringing a lot of that Washington offensive line with them.
Yeah, I mean, Lance, I feel like you're going to see at least a Washington center for Alabama next year.
And we'll see. I mean, Muhammad right now, I had the opportunity to visit Sark and staff in Austin and in Tuscaloosa today, and the lean is he will go to Texas. But I don't know, man. That final visit means a lot.
Nyblack doesn't bother me that much. His exit to Texas.
This is almost Jaleel Billingsley-like.
Yeah,
is it not? You saw flashes. You're like, damn, that guy could be incredible.
Yeah.
And just disappeared way too much.
And Billingsley never did anything at Texas. I listen, again, we are, and Andy Kennedy talked about this earlier, independent of what we had discussed, is one day we'll look back at this. So do you know the way we look back at the bowl era, how they used to do national champions? We're like, what a stupid way to do national champion.
Right.
I really think we'll look back one day in football at the transfer portal and be like, man, we used to do business that way. Guys weren't employees of the school, and they used to play 1 year, and then they could just bolt without any sort of repercussion and go anywhere they wanted. I think we'll look at that one day. We'll look back at this era of college football and be like, I cannot believe we used to operate that way. I cannot believe guys weren't just getting paid by the school to play football in basically a semi-pro league, which is what we're going to end up having.
Enjoy your basketball tomorrow. Auburn's got a home night game against Ole Miss, two top 25 teams. Auburn tries to go 5-0 in the SEC before going to Tuscaloosa. Tougher challenge for Bama. They're on the road, 1 o'clock afternoon tip on the ESPN platforms against number 6 Tennessee. If Bama does win, they're 5-0 and almost 100% ranked next week for that one, and they get Auburn next week at home.
The numbers hadn't come out yet, but I would say Tennessee's probably 7.5, 8-point favorites.
Probably. Auburn a big favorite at home?
Yes, double digits.
Double digits against Ole Miss, who's right now 22 in the country. Thank you, all of you, for being with us today. Thank you to Corey Reamer and the folks at Oats for last night. And thank you guys for riding with us throughout the week. It has been a chaotic roster week in Tuscaloosa. And if you're a Bama fan, you hope it's over with. If you're a fan of other college football teams, you expect it to continue. And we'll continue to follow that. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Monday. Brownie out, Dunaway LT, Rockstar Tyler Lunsford, Forrester, Taylor Corn, everything social media, all the gang here, including all of you in the chat room. Thanks for being with us today as we are in the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Auburn destroys Ole Miss, and they're the only unbeaten SEC team left. Alabama gets dominated by Tennessee. Those two play each other this week. We got the NFL Final Four. We'll get to all that as we move throughout the show. Your best and worst of the weekend. Dan Wetzel's our first guest, coming up at 10:45 Central Time. And then later on, Tyler Booker joins the show. The Alabama offensive lineman will be with us coming up in the final hour at around 11:10 Central today. If you want to mark that down and rejoin us live, or just hang around until then, remember, thumbs up, give us a heart, set alarms, and follow us everywhere you get us at Next Round Live. But let's start with the Alabama roster, which continues to churn, and how important Ohio State has become to what used to be the Alabama roster. Everyone had a good laugh when Seth McLaughlin went there, the center, because of some snaps at the Rose Bowl and throughout the year. They were like, good, you can have him. Now, after a weekend, Caleb Downs is there, and so too is five-star quarterback enrollee Julian Sayin, all heading to Columbus, and the Buckeyes, who, remember, already had Quinshon Judkins and a big wide receiver recruit in this class. Pretty good haul for the Buckeyes.
I mean, you look at what Ryan Day's been able to do in this portal. You get the number one running back, as you said, in Quinshon Judkins. I think the number 6 quarterback in Will Howard, the number 1 incoming freshman in Julian Sayin. I mean, and the number 1 overall player in Caleb Downs. I mean, they have completely slayed this. They were going to be a top 3 or 4 team to start 2024, but you start to look at impact guys immediately, and Georgia's going to be number 1, but I think Ohio State's got a really good shot at being number 2.
I don't know what it is about me, Marquell. See, I don't know if Marquell is a rival of Alabama fan or really an Ohio State fan. Marquell in the chat room, a couple of yes sirs, OH, and waiting for somebody to come back with the IO there. Chris, LSU fan, this is Ohio State's year coming up.
Well, I mean, look, they were, say what you want, they were a missed kick away and some conservative play calling from Ryan Day, C.J. Stroud's last year against Georgia. They win that game. Obviously, they beat TCU. Ryan Day's got to make some things happen. I've never seen a coach with this winning percentage that has as much pressure on Ryan Day, or as is Ryan Day, but that's the kind of pressure that resides right now in Columbus.
Well, that's what Chris is saying over there, is that he's saying it's going to be another year where everyone says this is the year Ryan Day gets it done. That adds to the pressure. You get the feeling, though, and there's been buzz that the Ohio State collective, tired of losing to Michigan, has gotten together and raised tons of money. I've heard a number of $15 extra million for their collective.
Well, I believe it. You know, Caleb Downs probably got around $1 million. Julian Sayin probably got around $1 million. Quinshon Judkins probably got $500,000 at least. So, yeah, they're throwing money around, and I thought Texas couldn't be outspent. But the biggest athletic budget in all of college football looks like the collective. They are tailgating this a little bit and spending whatever money they need to.
Yeah.
And if I'm an Ohio State fan, because there are no guardrails, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, we've got all that money. Why not spend it? So Ohio State's doing wonders here. I'd love to hear what everyone in the chat room thinks. You know, it's been a massive exodus from this roster, and I look down through the roster, and there's, you know, I can see why some leave and some don't leave, and there's only one player. There's only one player that's bothered me through this whole thing of all these players, and I've lost count now. It feels like we're over 25.
Bet I can guess who it is.
It's just Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
That's the only one. I mean, Julian Sayin, hell, I don't know if he's any good or not. Austin Mack may be just as good when it's all said and done. I don't know. Ty Simpson may be just as good when it's all said and done. I don't know. But I knew how good Caleb Downs was, and I was excited about him having to stay in school for 2 more years. The rest of these guys, I don't know how good they were going to be, or how good their backups are. The next person coming in, even Isaiah Bond, I was like, 400 something yards. I mean, it seems like they had 6 or 7 guys like that. He was growing into a good receiver.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing is Isaiah Bond, Kaden Proctor, you watched him get better as the season went on. So it's like these guys are developing in Tuscaloosa, and now they're going elsewhere. Look, this is just kind of the way it is. And you look at On3's portal rankings, 4 of the top 10 guys are Alabama guys that are going elsewhere.
It's crazy on what Ohio State, Florida State, Texas, and some others have done with former Alabama players. So it's interesting on the exits. But now at least Alabama is getting some players back. They got the great All-American center Parker Brailsford coming in. He's got 3 years of eligibility. He was the freshman All-American. It looks like Jeremy Bernard is coming in, a former 4-star wide receiver. He's Michigan State to Washington. Really good in the return game. We told you Friday about Austin Mack coming in. You already had Damani Jackson in there, LT Overton from Texas A&M. So they're starting to get some players back out of the portal. I don't know how many they'll get before spring. And we'll talk to Tyler Booker later on about this, just what the mood is like. But at least there seems to be, going into the weekend and coming out of the weekend, a little light at the end of the tunnel, if I can, for Kalen DeBoer and his staff.
Well, I think the one thing that and Alabama fans, this was very magnified, and especially at the end of the season and how things went down against Michigan. But from Seth McLaughlin to Parker Brailsford, you look like you've got a massive upgrade at center. So there's a win.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. And, go back to what Brock said. That coaching staff's familiar with Austin Mack. Julian Sayin was rated higher. But you never know how quarterbacks are going to shuffle out. Alabama's won some great championships with not the best quarterback in the country every year.
Yeah, look, I would say that if Kalen DeBoer really wanted, and I could be completely wrong here, but if they really wanted to keep Julian Sayin, they could have said, look, we're not going to recruit another quarterback. You're our guy. You're going to have an opportunity to compete to win the job this year against Jalen Milroe. But obviously they liked Mack a lot. And they liked him so much, they knew bringing him in could ultimately be the last straw for Julian Sayin.
Listen, we will get into later on what Kaden Proctor said in an Iowa basketball game a little bit later. Evan's still hoping for Jabbar Muhammad, a really good defensive back who has rolling through some visits at Tuscaloosa in Texas before he makes his decision. It continues
the lean,
to turn.
I'm seeing, at least in the portal that I've got here, is 99.9% Texas, 0.01% Alabama.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yes.
That's how I felt about Caleb Downs to Georgia. Congratulations on your 4 stakes on that one, by the way, 4-1.
It just never was done, and it seemed like such a slam dunk with T-Rob going to Athens that it was almost like a package deal.
It did, and I had a chance to talk to some folks over the weekend after that went down. I was just like, in my head, he was just going to follow T-Rob over there, and he's like, well, he loved T-Rob, but, really wanted to play for Nick Saban, got that for a year, and then liked the Ohio State folks, and that was his second choice, so that's where he ends up. But I watched something from UGAsports.com, and the story that they tell, and I don't know how true these things are, but the story that they tell at UGAsports.com is that Georgia, up until 30 minutes before the announcement, thought they had him. And it turned out that, according to UGAsports.com, that Michigan was going to pay him over $1 million. Ohio State was going to pay him over $1 million to come up to Columbus, to Ohio State. And the UGAsports.com guys made a point like, we're paying T-Rob, contract came out last week, $1.3 million. And he was recruiting Caleb Downs. We were not about to pay, and he's speaking for the Georgia coaches and the collective, the same thing for the player that we're going to pay for the co-defensive coordinator.
It seems outlandish, but this is where we are now. And I guess if you've got the deepest pockets, if you're Ohio State now, I mean, good for them. Look, they're able to get these guys to come in because they're spending whatever the number is. It's kind of like Ryan Williams. Everybody's waiting on what seems to be the next great wide receiver coming out of high school, where his destination's going to be. And, from what we've heard, Auburn will not be outbid.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to money, then I don't know what that number is ultimately going to be, but it is crazy that you've got a guy that has been coaching as long as T-Rob, and you've got a guy that has played 1 year of college football that basically is making what you're making in salary.
Marquell pointing out that Tim Walton grew up with Downs' dad, and that's what I'm hearing. That's why I don't have Forrester playing the UGAsports.com story of the timeline of Caleb Downs, is because some people have told me that the Downs family is not about money, that their decisions to go to Alabama or in this decision to go to Ohio State is not about money. It's more about relationships for them. They really wanted to play for Nick Saban. They did that for a year, and now because of what Marquell is saying in the chat room, they really like the folks at Ohio State, that it's not about money. So I don't know what he's making to go to Ohio State. Yeah, I don't know if I can trust any of the numbers you ever hear.
I would think it's $1 million.
You would think it's $1 million.
Yeah. I mean, his portal valuation here is $903,000. And if it did get into a little bit of bidding, look, you're Caleb Downs, you got leverage. Georgia thinks you're coming there. You can, get $25,000, $50,000 extra $1,000 from Ohio State.
We'll have several opportunities throughout the show to break down what is going on in college football, the portal news, the recruiting news, who could be next. Keep an eye on what's his name, Aaron Nolan, who's already the big 5-star quarterback signee at Ohio State. He's from Fairburn, Georgia. So Aaron Nolan, who's at Ohio State. Now you got Julian Sayin coming into Ohio State. So if I'm Aaron Nolan from Fairburn, Georgia, I'd be looking to see if someplace like Auburn or Georgia or anywhere else would be interested in me if they're bringing in another 5-star quarterback on top of me.
Look, I can probably make more, and these guys don't want competition now.
Yeah, and Julian Lewis is another Georgia guy who's committed to USC, but he's reclassified. He visited Auburn, he's going to visit Georgia. So 5-star quarterbacks everywhere in the portal. We'll talk more about that as we move throughout the show. Before we get to basketball and the NFL playoffs, time to remind you it's back in Birmingham, the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels Custom Auto Show in town down at the BJCC February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You can see classic cars, hot rods, custom trucks, motorcycles, and many of them never seen before in Birmingham. A new look show coming to town. Plus, you can shop with the vendors, register to win prizes, and meet the celebrities. Friday, you get to meet WWE legend Mick Foley's in town. You also get Dave Kindig, the Kindigit Designs are in there Saturday. And then the classic Leave It to Beaver star Jerry Mathers is in town on Sunday. Plenty for the kids to see and do in Kids World with rides, characters, movie, cars, and free Hot Wheels drag racing all weekend long. Don't miss the Super Show where you can see one-of-a-kind vehicles from all around the country and register to win prizes. It's all happening February 2nd through the 4th, and get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts, all of them in the area. For times and other details, please visit worldofwheels.net, worldofwheels.net. In basketball, you want to start with Auburn drilling Ole Miss, battle of ranked teams. Let's go there first. At home, this game, much like Tennessee, Alabama, never a contest. And I just want to talk Auburn defense to start with. This Ole Miss team, Chris Beard's going to, he plays a certain style. He's going to play it one way. But this Auburn defense took them out of the game early on, including little Leor Berman, grad, senior, playing out his eligibility, guarding Alan Flanagan. He was in his mug all night long. Great win for Auburn, and they are now the only unbeaten SEC team left.
Yeah, I mean, that was a skull-dragging. Up 35 in that game. They ultimately go on and win by 23, but they held the Rebels to less than 37% from the field. There was only one Rebel that was former Tiger Flanagan in double figures with only 10 points. It was just a terrible offensive output for Ole Miss. And this Auburn team, again, shows you the balance. The bench comes up with 40 points again. Deepest bench in all of college basketball. Playing tenacious on the defensive side right now. And Auburn goes to 16-2. What have they won? Is it 11 straight now?
It is 11 straight games now. Yeah, and they're 5-0. They're heading to Tuscaloosa Wednesday night with a lot of momentum. Here's Bruce Pearl talking about the big win against Ole Miss down on the Plains Saturday night.
I told our guys before, every now and then they were asking me, Coach, you impressed yet? And I really haven't. I really haven't been. Part of it is just, we haven't played that many ranked teams yet, right? And but Ole Miss comes in ranked. And they're a good team, got a really well coached and we are still not as good as they think we are. I mean, right now, we're not. We're better than they thought we were. We'll just see. We'll just see how the play. We'll just keep playing it out. This is a very good win tonight because of the margin against a good team. Let's see what this brings. Let's see what this week brings.
This week brings road games in Tuscaloosa and Starkville. You're good on point spread. They won't come out until closer to game time on Wednesday. Auburn at Alabama Wednesday night in Coleman Coliseum. I would assume Auburn's the favorite. By how much?
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really skinny though. I would say that Auburn is going to be a 2.5 point favorite.
So it'll be skinny because of
respect.
Alabama still gets KenPom. Alabama's 8, Auburn's 5, Tennessee's 4. So even though Alabama looks so bad on Saturday, they're still getting a lot of computer respect.
Yeah, that the defense that Alabama fans worried about, it came back. The bad side, when Alabama is playing at their worst, I mean, they got pushed around Saturday.
They did. I
mean, Tennessee got 40 shots in the first half.
They did. Let me. I want to talk more about this Tennessee team. So Auburn will be the favorite in your opinion.
Yes.
Smaller than some people expect. Coming up Wednesday night in Tuscaloosa, a lot more as we lead into that game. The Alabama conversation being brought to you today by our friends at Johnston RV. It is RV show season, and Johnston RV Center is their motto. Their motto is "Why wait on an RV show?" Johnston RV has decided to go ahead and provide huge show and model closeout discounts on select floor plans from Forest River right now. You don't have to wait on a show somewhere in your area. Just come to Johnston RV, 2 great locations. Whether you're looking for a travel trailer, fifth wheel, toy hauler, or motorhome, Johnston RV has what you need. Get a head start on camping season by taking advantage of RV show pricing right now at Johnston RV Center. February 2nd through the 4th. They will be at the Von Braun Center in Huntsville, and February 23rd through the 25th, they'll be at the BJCC. But right now, right there on site at Johnson RV Center, you can get RV show pricing, even before you go to those 2 locations in February. Visit them at both their locations, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman and 334 in Decatur, or always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. Boy, for Alabama, physical teams, and they've played a lot of them this year, most of them really high in the rankings in the KenPom, push them around a little bit. At both ends of the floor, they struggle against the nation's best team, especially teams like Tennessee, who are just more physical than they are.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tennessee to go for 91 points against this Alabama team, it was complete. Just demolished them, up 27 in this game. And look, Kentucky, they debut the big guy. What's his name? Dunaway, help me out.
Oh, the big 7'2" guy? Yeah, I don't have his name.
He makes his debut this past weekend. So you got 3 teams that are legitimate Final Four looking teams in the SEC with Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Auburn Tigers.
And that, I got a little heat on Saturday because Auburn's still unbeaten. They had not played Ole Miss when I did this video for Little T. But my power rankings right now is Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky, 1, 2, 3. And then there's a bunch of teams fighting for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th in the SEC.
Yeah,
but I put Tennessee 1 right now, even though they've lost, because of this Connect kid. I watch his game, the way he's playing right now. He could play in the NBA tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, 6'6", can play inside, can play outside, and he's a scoring machine right now. He goes for 25 against Bama, had back-to-back 35-plus games, and you couple that with the fact that you've got Vescovi and Ziegler, you've got veteran guards, you've got a coach that loves to play that dog and heat defense. And I don't know, Tennessee, Auburn, I could take either one. I said last week I believed Auburn was the best team in the league. It's close. After watching Tennessee demolish Bama on Saturday, it really is close.
A dog and heat defense. I've never heard that. So really right up tight on you?
Right on the leg, man.
Right on the leg there.
Might as well let him finish.
Do everything you can except foul.
Rockstar, give me cut 2. Here's Nate Oats after the loss in Knoxville, where Alabama had a season-high 22 turnovers. They turned it over 12 times a game anyway. They turned it over 22 times. And Tennessee had, listen to this number, Tennessee had 40 points off of turnovers and second chance points there. Not a recipe for victory. Here's Nate Oats.
That was as dominating a performance somebody's put on us in a long time around here. They're good. They're tough. They're physical. We weren't ready for it. I didn't do good enough job prepping them for their aggressiveness. I mean, they forced 22 turnovers. They scored many points off, 23 points off our turnovers. Like, gave up, they scored 17 second chance points. When you give up 40 points off turnovers and second chance points, you're not going to win very many games. Disappointing. Good thing is it's one game. I told our guys we lost up here last year and still won the league. We're going to have to get a lot tougher. They exposed some of our softness last year. I thought after this game we did get a lot tougher and played a lot better after we lost up here last year. So hopefully that same thing happens. We'll see if some guys show some character and come back ready to play a little tougher brand of basketball.
Yeah, got exposed. Same situation last year. Can they turn it around? And can they turn it around quick enough to have rival Auburn, the last unbeaten SEC team, coming to town on Wednesday night?
Well, I think Alabama is deep enough offensively. They're so dynamic that, on a given night they can beat anyone, especially when they're hitting the perimeter shots. The problem is going to be for Alabama, once you get to the NCAA tournament, I just don't think they're going to be consistent enough defensively. And, and when your offense turns the basketball over, I mean, they had 8 turnovers in the first 10 minutes. I mean, that game was over before you could blink.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Tennessee's good. Auburn's good. Kentucky's good. And the rest of the SEC is not bad. Tough, challenging schedule all week long. Alabama and Auburn Wednesday night. Auburn goes to the weekend to Mississippi State. Alabama, I should say, will get LSU at home for the weekend. Love your comments. We'll get to those. We'll get to your best and worst of the weekend coming up. The NFL playoffs down to the Final Four. 3 really entertaining games over the weekend. 2 of them ended up being sort of blowouts. 2 of them were fantastic contests. We'll get to that. And a big congratulations to Rockstar coming up in the next segment as well as we continue on today. Brought to you in part by our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Some of you move into 2024 here with some credit card debt, and you're looking maybe to transfer that debt to a really good credit card rate. Let me recommend the Legacy credit card. Get details at LegacyCreditUnion.com. But 2.99% annual percentage rate for balance transfers for the first 6 months. That's going to give you a chance to get that problem taken care of and pay off that credit card debt. And credit card rates as low as 8.90% on new charges right there. APR, of course, is the annual percentage rate. Terms and conditions may apply. You can see the credit union for details or visit any of their 9 local branches. The Legacy credit card, also great checking and great place to get car and truck loans as well. LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com.
Subscribe and set alerts at Disrupt the Media on YouTube.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the next round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our not for all ages podcasts like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State Map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
All right, before we get too far into this segment, can I get Rockstar's camera, please, Forrester? Congratulations, Rockstar. Your Detroit Lions are in the Final Four, beating my Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. An emotional day for me. How emotional were you about it?
Turn my mic on. I got to see the second half. I feel for people like Charlie Vitella, who is a huge Lions fan, so congrats to him. He's been through it more than I have. He is a super fan. I have, admittedly, one of those guys that I love the Lions. I've loved them since 1990. And I think I saw that one playoff game they were in. I was too young to remember it. But it's awesome that they've come this far. And I'm seeing stuff like a Lions sandwich that's just ridiculous. If y'all saw this.
That's a sandwich they serve at the game?
Yes, it's called the...
Oh, now you hold that.
Apparently,
based on the meat, bread, cheese, everything, it's got to be a couple $100.
The 50-yard line sub sandwich bar stacks 3 feet tall and is meant to serve 10 to 12 people and is available for $250. But yes, I am super excited. Sorry about your Bucks, man.
Oh, that's okay.
Your boy Baker. But I got to see the second half. I got to see the full second half. We were eating, and I got to see it, and I'm super excited for them. Never thought that would happen. They'd ever be this far in the playoffs ever again.
What an unbelievable atmosphere it was. And now they go to San Francisco, where mybookie.ag, promo code next round, has them as a 7-point underdog.
I'll just say this. You got Dan Campbell against Kyle Shanahan.
So you think one is a good coach and the other one's Dan Campbell?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's done a good job with the culture, no doubt. He is going to be one of these guys, though, if you're not a Detroit fan, he will start to wear you out. It's all about his intensity.
His intensity?
Yeah.
Does he do tobacco? Does he dip?
Yeah. He digs in his ear a lot, I'll tell you that.
I like him, though.
Man, I told Forster, was like, how was your weekend? I was like, I can't get over this. Rams should be playing in San Fran this weekend.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. Yep.
Hey, good games yesterday. Baker Mayfield, couple of terrible throws. Really, the first pick wasn't his fault, though.
Yeah.
That was kind of lazy on Mike Evans. And that last pick was just a bad throw. He forced it. I thought they had plenty of time. I still don't like, and Chris Collinsworth tried to get into this, the analytics of going for 2, down 14. I just don't like it. I loved it yesterday because we gave out Tampa plus 6.5. And it gave us an opportunity, one play to cover. Mike Evans got lazy on that. If he comes back through
That's right,
the
pass
quarterback,
interference.
it's pass interference. You got one more play from the 1-yard line. He didn't, but I just don't get that. And he was like, it's 55% the conversion rate. The extra point is 99%. I didn't, or 95%. I really didn't get his math.
It was 95% on the extra point, so it's not a given. It's 55% on going for 2. And you're going to get 2 shots at it, so the odds are in your favor that you're going to get one of those. But by the way, that if you only get one of the 2, then that just gets you back to if you kick 2 extra points.
It's dumb because when Tampa got the ball back down 8, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm still feeling good about this. They've got to go the entire field with one timeout, and they still They've already shown us probably their best 2-point play, which I didn't understand a fade to the back of the end zone. But we've already seen this. What are the chances? It's more pressure on them to get the second one.
That's right.
It's almost Reggie Miller when he went to the free throw. He was, a 93% free throw shooter? But it was automatic to me.
Yeah,
when these guys line up for a field goal or for an extra point, it should be automatic.
It should be, unless you're a Buffalo kicker. More on that in a second. I just truly believe that it changes momentum. You scored a touchdown. Good answer. You kick the extra point, it's still all positive. When you go for 2 and you don't make it, that's a win for the defense. It takes away, to me, your momentum of that touchdown instantly.
Yeah, so
that.
You being a Bucs fan, you didn't want it. Me having a plus 6.5, I didn't mind it. But for the ultimate outcome of the game, I thought it was a mistake. Ultimately, it didn't matter because they were unable to get back down there. Unbelievable season from Tampa based on expectations.
I blame it on the defense, though. I mean, you're 17-17 going into 10-10 at the half. You're 17-17 going to the fourth quarter, and they scored just like that. Boom, hot knife through butter, back-to-back-to-back drives. They were not as aggressive defensively as they were the week before against Philadelphia.
Well, I'll tell you the biggest play of the game was the 3rd and 15. Amon-Ra St. Brown. When he catches it right at the stick, comes back for it, so he's about 1.5 yards short, and then – just muscles his way to the first down. But that 3rd and 15, if you could have gotten off the field there, I think the outcome's probably different. At least Tampa, it comes down to a 2-point conversion.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you this, man, that Detroit offensive line is one of the best. But you couldn't get any pressure on Goff. And I watched Goff for years. When you get pressure on Goff, completely different quarterback. A lot of these guys it's different. Pat Mahomes' pressure on him doesn't bother him. Right. He's actually better against the blitz.
Well, that's what
Tampa couldn't get home.
I told Maggie, I said, our only chance of winning today is if bad Jared Goff shows up. And he did not. He's had 2 really good playoff games, and now he'll have to be good again to beat San Francisco. More on the NFL playoffs and your best and worst of the weekend being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services today. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call. You need to make sure that unit is keeping up with this changing weather. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys, they had to come out to my house just last week. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. It's Hemp Hill Services.
Matthew says, best of the weekend. 3rd child was born, and the Auburn win. I always love that. 3rd child was born, and Auburn's big win. Congratulations, Matthew, to you and the wife there. He says his worst is the hospital recliner. Those things...
they're awful.
I guess it is made for the patient. You should be, they try to make the patient as comfortable as possible.
We were at St. Vincent's, and it was like the little couches. Every night I was sleeping on the little love seat. It was the 2.
It's a love seat that folds down into a mattress. It just goes down. And
you can just tell it's filthy. It's not somewhere you want to be. You just got to get in that mode. And I guess it's been forever ago. Rockstar, you're not necessarily a young dad, though.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm going to be if he plays sports, I'm going to be like the 46-year-old among 23-year-olds with their kids. I'm going to be the old guy.
But it wasn't as difficult to sleep on those things as it would be now. I can't imagine having to sleep in a hospital right now.
Yeah. I do a lot of couch time, both at home and up here when I sleep. So I'm used to uncomfortable places.
But things like that the remote control that's attached to the bed, the speakers on the remote control, and it's like super trebly and high pitched. It's not very fun.
Okay, this is gonna be a weird statement, but I'm into couches. Like I'm a couch guy, and I just got the most comfortable couch in the history of couches, and it's half price of any of my other couches.
Really?
Yeah.
So you actually?
I'll give you an in on it. Our boy C Stu came over and he's like, best couch in the world.
Yeah, I can't wait to come by and see it.
So I just moved them up a level. So we're making the playroom Jack's primary room. Okay. So I had a low profile that was in the living room, took that up to Jack's room, put the cloud into the living room.
Damn.
And now I've got the new one. But it is so freaking comfortable.
It's the opposite of Top Chef, where they
level up.
They level up. It's
Next Level Chef.
Next Level Chef, yes.
Thank you, Lester.
So it ends up being the same way at LT's house. The top level eventually gets the oldest furniture, just upside down.
Adam,
furniture at the bottom.
If you will DM me, I will. I'm not going to plug them, They don't deserve it, but if you will DM me, I will give you all the information. You will be blown away, though, because couches are expensive.
That's right.
But this couch, I mean, the price point was incredible compared to the comfort. I slept on it last week purposely. Like, went down on Wednesday or Thursday night, and I'm like, I'm just going to sleep on the couch tonight.
Our friends at Hemphill brings you best and worst of the weekend. Nick says best of the weekend, the 49ers win. Worst of the weekend, the way the 49ers looked in that game. I thought they were beat.
Yeah, so there's good and bad out of this. I think to be able to survive a red-hot Green Bay team and still get out of there with a win, and I love Dre Greenlaw. You know, for a minute, I was like, we're going to get a backdoor cover here with San Francisco. He had the ball running around for 12 seconds when the game was over. And Jaden Reed was coming up behind him to strip. That could have been a bad situation. But San Francisco looked really bad. They're still able to win the game. And the other side of that, though, is Deebo Samuel. He injures his shoulder, and he's 50-50 whether or not he's going to play. And obviously, he is a major, major factor.
And if they get rain again, Brock Purdy struggled gripping the ball. His passes were not as on target as they usually were. In the rain they were playing with. A lot of goods with Auburn and bads with Alabama. And LT's neighbor says Dalton Knecht is what we hoped Grant Nelson would be at Alabama.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, I think that's fair because Knecht last year averaged right around 20. And I think that was in the neighborhood of what Grant Nelson averaged. I'm just surprised that Knecht's able to come in and make it look as easy as he is right now against SEC competition.
Best and worst of the weekend continues in just a second. LT, tell us about A+. You're talking about upgrading your living room furniture, your couch situation.
Yeah, Harbin's did the backyard. It's one of those things, the older I get, I am going to be comfortable in my space. And one of those things was the master bathroom. When I bought the house back in 2012, I liked the master bathroom. But since that point, it's gotten outdated. It was a little too dark, a little too dank for me. I wanted to lighten things up. I heard Brown talking about Brad Bell and the fine folks at A+. So I gave him a call. He came out, gave me that free estimate. Look, this isn't one of those one-day bath remodel places. Brad's estimate is actually less expensive and higher quality than those places. Completely redone bathroom with custom features and real tile. Plus, financing options are available. So stop looking at your old, ugly tile shower. Find A+ Tile Home Remodeling on Facebook to see some of their beautifully finished bathrooms. You can call Brad today. Tell him the next round sent you. That's 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. It is A+.
Best and worst of the weekend, NH3 425, UAB and Sanford win. UAB has won 8 of 9 as they beat East Carolina 69-61. I will tell you here, Andy wants you at the Bartow Classic coming up Sunday against Memphis. That's a big, big game for them, and also honoring the late, great Gene Bartow in that Classic. Would love to see the arena packed for that one. And Sanford, man, they beat Mercer. They've won a school record 17 straight, and they're in mid-80s in the Ken Palm, which is really good for a team. A low major is what Sanford, I guess, would be classified as. This team, they'll have to win their tournament to automatically get into the NCAA tournament, but they are playing elite level basketball.
Yeah, rough day yesterday at Lance's Lock. We were 3-0 to start, and we lost our last 4, so 3-4 overall. But one of those games early was Tulane against Memphis. So after that game was over, then we had East Tennessee State against Chattanooga. So sadly, I was watching that game, and they did like a minute on Sanford basketball, and they showed what Bucky McMillan and Sanford's been able to do this year. And
longest win streak in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, had logo up next game, had, Ken Palm rating, and what they've been doing right now. So, this is a nice moment in time for Sanford basketball.
Yeah, Jeff says best of the weekend, the Chiefs pulling out the big one on the road, the worst experiencing negative 11 degrees out here in Nebraska. Give me cloudy and 30 in the south any day of the week. Yeah, I'm glad the cold weather's breaking. I'll take the rain to get back into the 60s around here, huh?
When we thought it couldn't get any worse with Kansas City and this stupid Taylor Swift thing, now you got Jason Kelsey. And I could see early on, Barstool sent out that he was hanging out with Bill's Mafia and he had the bowling ball and was doing the shots out of it. So that's normally the bad start of a day if you're going to keep pounding. And he kept pounding. And I guess he got to blackout status because when shirt comes off, if you're a grown man, you got to be blacked out.
I'm wondering, the bowling ball thing, that's got to be like a new one, right? I mean, you don't use one that's you don't pull that one off the rack at the local bowling alley.
Yeah, because Bills fans seem real clean. They seem like they really care. Josh Allen can't win a big game. All you had to do was, once you got down there, Diggs is running a crossing route underneath. Yeah. Why you want to go deep and leave a minute and a half on the clock anyway? Get the first down, the sure thing. He's running wide open. You've got time to do that. You're down then about the 25, under a minute to go. You control everything at that point. I didn't understand it, but I will tell you, I'm a big Ravens fan this weekend.
Yeah,
let's get this team out.
What is it? Ravens 3.5 at home against Kansas City. So it's both on both sides of the Final Four. It's the 1 seeds versus the 3s is the way it worked out. The 2s end up being disappointing. So it's the 1s and the 3s that end up playing each other.
Jason Kelsey's probably a top 2 or 3% as far as men that can go hands and whip other men on this planet. But for him to skin off and to come down into the crowd, look, and I know there was some good. He brought a little girl up to meet Taylor Swift, all that kind of stuff. But, boy, this is dangerous territory. Bills fans have got to be some of the most on a swivel, disappointed, neglected fan base that you could ever imagine, based on the fact that they can't even, it was a time where they lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. They can't even sniff a Super Bowl now, and you got this guy climbing out into their crowd.
See, I really
imagine a 4 or 5 Bills Mafia attacking.
Well, I really think, would you turn your kid over to a shirtless, blacked out drunk guy to carry her up into a skybox to meet Taylor Swift?
No, I mean, this is, I don't know. Boy, this Chiefs team.
Krusty's right. He should have been in Game of Thrones. He'd have been a great character if they were still doing that. Best and worst of the weekend. Let me bang out a couple of those before I tell you about our friends at Manscaped here. Let's see. Who else had some good ones in here? Trey said best of the weekend, Auburn basketball, worst the fourth quarter by Buffalo there. A lot of Bills fans in the area. I don't know if they're transplants or what, but you get a lot of Bills love in this area. G. Curbo, best of the weekend, Auburn, putting a belt to that butt on Ole Miss, and Chris Beard there. His worst of the weekend, the Buccaneers losing there. NH325, Bucky Balls, win streak, and the Auburn win. The worst, the Bills lost. A lot of people upset about the Bills losing. Appreciate your best and worst of the weekend. We will talk to Dan Wetzel about Harbaugh's future and the love for the Lions in Detroit. But I want to tell you about the love for your face and just being well-groomed with our friends at Manscaped right here. This is the handyman. I keep this one in the car in case I need to tighten up the beard or shave before I go into a meeting, in case something is sprung on me at the last minute. But right now, Manscaped moves into a new year with all your resolutions of being well kept in 2024. It's time to reach new heights with new opportunities and a new look for you. Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're looking to maintain a trim or go for that clean-shaven look, I go clean-shaven. Brown always goes with that maintained trim look. They've got the trimmer for you. Trusted by over 10 million men worldwide. 10 million men can't be wrong, right? Now is your time to get a grip on your grooming with the exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com. You see on your screen there, manscaped.com. Use the code TNR for 20% off, plus you get free shipping. So you're saving money as well there. Whether it's the face, the chest, the head, or anything below the equator, Manscaped's got you covered. Manscaped.com, promo code TNR for 20% off, plus free shipping right there with the wonderful folks at Manscaped. Stay well-groomed in 2024. We're back in a moment with more college football news on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Roback. Brian Brown here for the next round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you'll ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at rowback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at rowback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is rowback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at rowback.com.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Brentwood Academy quarterback there in Nashville, George McIntyre, one of the elite quarterbacks in 2025, has just picked Tennessee over Alabama, Auburn, everyone else that wanted him. He had offers from everybody. So a big get there for the future of Josh Heupel, quarterback of the future there in this 2025 signing class.
You know, this is a really interesting year for Heupel. Not that he's in trouble by any means, but you go from having that season just 2 years ago where you beat Alabama. You've got every opportunity to get to a college football playoff. All you got to do is beat South Carolina. Kind of falls apart there at the end. But if you're a Tennessee fan, you win 11 games, you're a top 10 team, it feels like you're going in the right direction. Then you took a couple of steps back this year. So where are we on Heupel? Is it a program that's going to consistently win double-digit games and make a push to get to SEC championships, or is it going to be more kind of middling? And the problem is,
time will tell, but
the SEC just gets more difficult.
It does, but you lose Saban there, so I think that helps a little bit, right?
Yeah, but losing 4 games in conference was kind of a surprise for a lot. But Tennessee, you look at the schedule, their only difficult out-of-conference game this year is going to be NC State, but they get them in Neyland. So Chattanooga, NC State, Kent State, and UTEP, that should be 4-0 out-of-conference. Your most difficult game on the road, Georgia and Oklahoma. But, if you could get a split there, you get Alabama at home, you get Florida at home.
16-1 against Nick Saban, though. So losing him in Tuscaloosa,
yeah,
see if Kalen DeBoer can keep that up against Tennessee. That takes a little pressure off the shoulders there. One huge thing happened yesterday, away from our normal conversation here. We'll get to that after I remind you of our friends at Bandwagon. They want to remind you that baseball and softball season's right around the corner. In fact, for a lot of people, it cranks up in February. And right now at Bandwagon, your local sports store, their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs to make an unforgettable season happen. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms. They can do it all there. That's right, uniforms as well. Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, listeners who spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment at Bandwagon, you'll get $20 off just because you're watching the next round. And I've been in there. They've got the best gloves, from batting gloves to the fielding gloves, the best bats, anything you need on game day. It's all right there. You get $20 off if you go in there before February 3rd just because you watch us. Got to spend $100 to get that $20 discount. Just tell them the Next Round sent you there. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. Your local sports department there, the way sports stores used to be. They brought it back, and trust me, it's a difference. All the great locations there with our friends at Bandwagon. See if you've got one in your neighborhood here locally. All right, yesterday, doesn't happen often. Rockstar give me cut 4 or 5. In fact, it hasn't happened since Phil Mickelson did it in 1991. But an amateur won on the PGA Tour. Nick Dunlap, the sophomore at Alabama, wins the American Express tournament out in La Quinta, California. He's only the 8th amateur ever in the history of the PGA Tour to win a tour event. The first for the tour since 1991. Now, he's the U.S. amateur champion, so he's good. He's going to be on the PGA Tour someday, but now he's got a 2-year PGA Tour card exemption, and he's got a decision to make, whether to go back to Alabama and keep playing or to jump on the tour right now. And he's going to be in all 4 majors. He can go to Alabama and still play all 4 majors.
Yeah, I think he probably jumps, but who knows? He's 20 years old, the only amateur in the field this weekend. That's an incredible story. I mean, and for something that hasn't been done since 1991 with the great young golfers we have now. So you would think that, if this was done, 5 times before 1991, because the golfers are so good now, maybe it would happen. But look, that 6-foot putt looked a lot longer. And he talked about that's the most pressure, the most nervous he's ever been.
Because you felt like if he went to overtime, this magical weekend was going to get away. Here he is talking about the nerves there on 18, because he had a 2-shot lead and had seen that slip away into a tie, and then he had to battle back and get the win. Here's the Alabama sophomore Nick Dunlap from the Huntsville area with close ties out at Greystone as well, Spain Park. Here's Nick.
I suppose a lot of people would have had 1 or 2 ideas about what's going to happen today. Either you're going to shoot 61 again and run away with it, or the moment would be pretty big and you'd struggle with it. Did you have either of those expectations, or is there something else?
Of course. Everybody's got doubts. I probably had 1,000 different scenarios in my head of how today was going to go, and it went nothing like I expected. And I think that was the cool part about it. That's golf, and I hit a lot of shots that I didn't think I was going to hit, and then I hit some shots that didn't went way better than I expected, and the same thing with putting, and like I said, I just think that's the cool part of golf.
You got any homework to do tonight?
Yes, probably won't do it though.
I love the honesty. My ass wouldn't be doing it.
The bad part is $1.6 million is the first place prize, but he's the amateur. He couldn't take it. Now, we're in an NIL world where Caleb Downs can get $1 million from Ohio State.
So dumb.
But this kid can't take the $1.6 million he just earned on the golf course. That slides down to the guy that finished second. He gets the first place prize money.
I know this is just part of it with amateurs playing in these tournaments, but you remember when they would have I think it was an Alabama golfer that hit the hole in one, and he had to decide whether he wanted his eligibility or the $1 million.
Yep.
And he took the $1 million. You would think that you would almost hey, you're no longer an amateur if you take this, but it can be yours. But, how surreal it's got to be for him. Phil Mickelson, John Rahm tweeting directly at him, and Mickelson said, this is just the beginning. So you assume at 20, this guy's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah. My buddy Johnny Orr told me years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, right out of the pandemic. He says, you need to get this Nick Dunlap kid. He plays travel ball with Hughes, his son.
Were you whatever?
I did.
Yeah.
I was nice. We were on the golf course. He's like, hey, you need to do an interview with him. He's gonna make it. He's gonna be good. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Next time we talk a little, golf, amateur golf on the show, we'll get him on.
Yeah, it's all about headspace. And, Smiley Kaufman was a guy, you remember he made the run of the Masters?
Yep.
And we thought that he was going to be a factor for a long time. And I don't think he's playing. I think he's coaching now, right?
Smiley's one of the great broadcasters out there.
Broadcasting. Somebody else is coaching, yeah.
Smiley is like one of the hottest names in broadcasting right now. Really, really good at what he does.
Yeah,
and well-liked by all the golfers.
But you would have thought that he would still be playing based on where he was to where he is now.
Yeah, with his age and everything. One more, though, because Nick does have his Alabama teammates who were all in a Sprinter van, and they pulled over to watch the final few holes with Nick Dunlap. And here's their reaction on this putt from 18. Watch the reaction here and listen in.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Look at the teammates, man. Now, we'll see if they end up losing him for the tournaments this year in their pursuit of a national championship.
I saw somewhere where Nick Dunlap is Coach Saban's putting coach, gives him a lot of advice on it. But, Saban was saying that this is the guy that is so mentally strong. Shot that 12 under 60 in the third round. Then he loses his lead on the front nine yesterday. But because of the mental makeup, he's able to keep plotting and make this thing ultimately happen. What did Saban tell you why your game had gotten bad?
We talked about it the other day. I was bragging to Nick Saban on our show at the Floribama about finally getting my handicap under 10 to 9.8. And then when I was on the coaches show after the Texas loss, in the commercial break, I said, hey, since I bragged to you about my handicap, I've shot nothing but in the 90s. What do you think's going wrong? I need a tip. And he said, you're mentally weak. And I said,
what else is new? Yeah, he did lay that down.
Yeah, he said, I guarantee you, since you've bragged about being under to a single digit, every time you hit a bad shot, now you're thinking, I'm not going to shoot 74 today. I can't hit my low score today. And I said, you're exactly right. And he goes, so you've done that on the first or second hole, and you got 16 more holes to play, and you're already beat. You're mentally weak. And then he didn't smile or anything, went back to signing autographs.
Well, that is the
hard
difference.
Coaching.
It is all about headspace when it comes to these guys. And because you've seen guys, local courses, they can go out there and just completely slay it. But in these situations, there's no way they could do that.
Such a mental game. A couple of great sponsors, including our friends at Gutter Cap. Before LT tells you about Gutter Cap, I want to tell you about Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. I've been happy to get some weight loss here over the past few days to get back feeling better after our trip out to Pasadena. Thank you so much to Leslie and her board-certified team for getting me back on track. They can help you, too, whether it's weight loss, whether it's other personal things you want to do just to stop making eating a habit or something you look forward to, just make it nourishment, what it's supposed to be, blood pressure control, cholesterol control, whatever it is, Leslie can design a plan specifically for you. No cookie cutter plan with our friends at Way to Wellness. Here is their website, planforme.com. Planforme.com. That echoes the fact that every plan is different for you. And because you're a Next Round viewer or listener, there's no contract, there's no sign-up fee, and the first consultation is absolutely free. So no out-of-pocket money for our friends at Way to Wellness. So go get details, see if you like it, and set up that free consultation. The website, again, is planforme.com, planforme.com, your journey to healthy living. And our friends at Gutter Cap, it's that time of year again when you start thinking about improving your home. Maybe you're going to sell it. Gutter Cap can add value to your house.
Yeah, cap it, don't snap it. Call, get that free estimate right now, 205-823-2212. Chris Stewart will come out. He will give you that free estimate. And Gutter Cap is a patent aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutters. It will keep all that debris out. You'll never have to clean the gutters again. It's a dirty, dangerous job. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Roback. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you will ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at rowback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at rowback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is rowback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at rowback.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, remember Tyler Booker, Alabama's offensive lineman, joins the show coming up in just over an hour, around 11:10 today Central Time. So we look forward to talking to Tyler Booker just about the mood in Tuscaloosa with the roster and the guys that are left behind. If you missed it over the weekend, Caleb Downs and Julian Sayin both to Ohio State over the weekend. We told you Trey Amos was going to Ole Miss, but some people are starting to come out of the portal to Alabama, including a trio of players from Washington. That's Jeremy Bernard, Parker Brailsford. Bernard's a receiver/return specialist. Brailsford is a freshman All-American center. And then Austin Mack you knew about last week. So a lot of movement with the roster in Tuscaloosa. We'll talk to Tyler Booker in just over an hour. More college football news and a discussion about Auburn's next defensive coordinator, it looks like, after LT tells us about our friends at Redmond Vodka.
Gluten-free, 8 times distilled, locally owned and operated. Great product. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it. Ask for it by name if they don't have it. Tell them to get it. Available in 22 states. It is Redmond Vodka.
Okay, so I mentioned Sayin and Downs up to Ohio State. Interesting there, Bill O'Brien is their offensive coordinator. He was one of the guys he was the offensive coordinator in T-Town when Julian Sayin was being recruited. So obviously Sayin's family and him very comfortable with Bill O'Brien being the offensive coordinator. Another reason why he may have picked Ohio State.
Yeah, and I don't know Bill O'Brien, the recruiter. Now, I will tell you the offensive coordinator before Bill O'Brien took over, Brian Hartline. Hartline is one of the best recruiters in college football. Former Ohio State wide receiver. You see the great Ohio State receivers that come in, and you wonder what his relationship. I mean, you really wonder how this thing's going to work out now that he's taken basically a demotion.
Yeah, from the Patriots to Ohio State.
No, I'm talking about Bill O'Brien coming in.
Right. Oh,
Hartline was the OC, and now he's not anymore, which is kind of strange, but. I don't know. A lot of people, and I wonder if it's just more Alabama fans critical of the Bill O'Brien hire. Because I think he's got a good resume.
Well, he does. I mean, Brady, Deshaun Watson, Bryce Young. I mean, he's been the OC for a lot of good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
By the way, 5-star quarterback Aaron Nolan was already part of that recruiting class up there. So 2 5-star incoming freshmen. We'll see what Nolan ends up doing. If he's a portal guy, he's from Fairburn, Georgia. So could be an SEC-bound guy who ends up being pushed out at Ohio State. Another 5-star quarterback commit for 2025 to USC, who reclassified at the end of last week from Carrollton, Georgia, Julian Lewis, visiting Auburn over the weekend. He's got Georgia on a visit coming up and Colorado as well before he finalizes his decision and makes a commitment. But right now he's a USC commitment for Lincoln Riley. And as we told you in the last hour, George McIntyre, 5-star quarterback, out of Nashville, has picked Tennessee this morning over several schools. So some big movement there. But I want to talk about Kaden Proctor a little bit here. If you can give me cut number 3, Rockstar. This is from Camille Gear of WQAD. And Kaden Proctor, the freshman at Alabama, started every game as a true freshman. Big stud offensive lineman from Iowa. He's an Iowa guy. In fact, during the whole recruiting process, everyone thought Alabama was wasting their time. They thought he was going to go to Iowa. So 1 year down here, and he does end up at Iowa through the portal with a coaching change. And listen to what he tells Camille here from WQAD, and then we'll talk a little bit about this, but specifically the first part of this bite. Listen in.
No bridges were burnt, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so easy for me to pick them when I did enter the transfer portal, because we still have those relationships. And even after I was doing bad in the SEC, and struggling, they hit me up and said, we're proud of you. You're going to get through this. And that's what ultimately helped me with my decision, because they still believed in me. It feels good, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I came in here, everybody, cheering me on, happy for me. And I know, I did leave, and it hurt people's hearts, and that kind of equated into them showing hatred. But I mean, like I said, that's what every fan base does.
Yes. Needs a new colored hoodie, but you heard up. Well, I guess what Alabama fans are getting up said they hit me up.
They hit me up. Now, there's no exact time there, but if you just follow how Kaden Proctor progressed throughout the year, struggled early on, and they hit me up and told me to keep my head up. I'd be okay, blah, 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 blah. He got really good at the end. There'd be no need to hit him up at the end.
No, it had to be in season.
Yes.
I don't think this really was a money grab. A lot of this is money grabs for some of these kids, but he's an Iowa guy that a lot of people, as you said, believed he was going to Iowa. He gave it a year. Kids homesick. It happens to a lot of kids. He's going back home.
Here's my point on all this. And, I think it got what I was talking about on Twitter. People thought I was battling that he left Alabama, that it was tampering or something. No. And I would imagine that, I'm looking at this list of, 3 kids to Ohio State, 1 to Auburn, 1 to Ole Miss, 1 to Texas A&M, 5 to Florida State, 1 to Kentucky, 3 to Texas, Iowa, Tulane, Georgia, Florida, UTSA, Pitt, Louisville. I just think everyone stays in contact, whether it's directly or through back channels, with kids they're recruiting, because it's the portal era now. That's for guys that have left Alabama since the coaching change. I think Alabama probably does exactly the same thing, right? Auburn does, Georgia, they all do the same thing. My point on the post was, how are we penalizing Florida State for any NIL problems in this era where there seems to be no rules? And Florida, I guess, now is under a little bit of investigation when it comes to the Rashada NIL dealings they had, the Jaden Rashada recruitment. My point was, this goes on. How are we punishing Florida State? There should be we're in an era of no rules. How are we punishing Florida State? Let's have an era of no rules. Let's keep it no rules and no punishment.
Everybody's tampering. And you're right. Like, if I was a head coach at the FBS level and my guys were recruiting, I would say, hey, look, stay in touch with these guys. Shoot them a text every now and then.
Yeah.
Just keep that lifeline open in case they do go into the portal and we got a shot.
Yeah, I don't understand how we're punishing Florida State here. And there's no postseason ban, so it's not going to really impact them. And they're doing well in the portal, so they're not major penalties. But what rules are we enforcing here? And if Florida State did what they're accused or now found guilty of doing, how many other people were doing exactly the same thing? My point is, let's just get rid of the rules, which it seems where we are anyway. Let's just go.
Yeah, I didn't realize we had any.
Yeah, exactly. And I keep hearing, look at Alabama. It's time to change the rules. Alabama fans, I'm sure, would agree the rules need to be changed. Heck no. If you're an Alabama fan right now, the last thing you want to happen is to have the rules changed because you want every other major coaching change in college football with a good roster to have to go through exactly what you've gone through over the last few weeks. You don't want the rules changed now to where you're the only one that got caught on pit road and have to go a lap down because of your coaching change and the rules the way they are. You don't want to change the rules now. If you're Alabama, you want to keep the rules exactly the way they are just in case Kirby retires one day or Sark gets fired or Sark goes to the NFL or whatever happens down the road that some great roster comes open and you can go cherry pick them. You don't want the rules change. You want it to be exactly the way you are because you've already suffered the penalty. Nick Saban's retired and all you guys have left. No rule changes. Let it stay exactly the way it is until everyone else cycles through their great coach. You agree or disagree?
No, I agree with you. I mean, look, they again, it's the Wild West right now, so it seems a little petty for Florida State to get popped on the wrist with this, considering that everyone else is doing it.
100%. 4 Downs today brought to you by our friends at Slice. Slice Pizza, great location. I made a mistake to go to a different pizza place just out of convenience the other day. It was right beside where I was. And so disappointed that I didn't take the time to drive over to the Vestavia location and get Slice. There's one good pizza for me in town. It's Slice, and everything else ends up disappointing.
Local pizza, local ingredients. The concept was created by the late Jeff Bajaya, great dude. His brothers, Chris and Jason, continue to celebrate his legacy. Stop into one of those 4 locations, Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, coming soon to Homewood. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Oh, better quarterback coming up this Sunday, Brock Purdy or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff. Jared Goff's playing great football. Like they pointed out during the game yesterday, for some reason Tampa Bay's linebackers were dropping way deeper than they normally do. They weren't as aggressive as they usually were, and he was so patient to take the easy throw, to take yards here. And one time he had a nice long scramble. He's just playing such good football. Took that to beat the Rams. He did that against the Buccaneers yesterday. Listen, he'll have to be really, really good. But Brock Purdy almost cost his team the game. He was off on throws for the most part until the very end of that contest. He did not have his best game. Jared Goff's a better quarterback right now.
Well, I think San Francisco fans are kind of freaking out too because they should have won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago where they had a 10-point lead on the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, and it was really bad throws, easy throws that Garoppolo could have made. Now you've got a guy like Brock Purdy. It's going to be a great story if he can actually get them over the hump. But I agree with you. Jared Goff and the way his offensive line is playing. Penei Sewell is just incredible.
Yeah, well, that whole Lions offensive line was good, but that's my concern for them going against San Francisco. Ragnow at center is now banged up in a couple of places, got rolled up on twice, and then they lost their left guard, and I don't know if he'll be ready to play this week. Maybe back for the Super Bowl. I don't know how serious his injury was, but that became a problem for them at left guard. They were good tackle to tackle, but now they're a little banged up in the middle.
Second down.
Who is in the semifinals again first? Detroit going back to an NFC Championship game, or the Michigan Wolverines getting to the Final Four? College football.
I think the Lions have a window here. Goff seems very comfortable. The receiving core, Jameer. I think it was Bobby, but I won't pin it on Bobby from Homewood. But somebody, when I said the Lions had a good draft, and he was like, drafting Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round is a total mistake. And then, but if you go, they went Gibbs, they got Laporta, I think, in the second round.
Yeah, early
those,
second.
Those two guys are rookies, and they're going to be around for a while, and they are such weapons. Jamison Williams is, he's a one-trick pony, but he's getting a little bit better. St. Brown is, still with the organization. They have that great offensive line. Hutchinson off the corner there is going to be great for years to come. They've got a window here, so I'm going to say the Lions.
Third down.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think. No, I will tell you, the NFC's got a lot of young, really good teams, though.
Green Bay being one of them.
Yeah. Who wins another playoff game first, Josh Allen or Alabama? 3 consecutive divisional losses now for the Bills.
Yeah, well, let's do this. First off, Stephon Diggs won't be back with that team next year. I think
Probably
he'll be somewhere
not.
else.
If he makes a grab on that, it ended up being a 16-play drive where they get no points. But if he makes the grab on one of the first or second down, I think it was going to be a 60-yard bomb that puts him in a really good spot.
I don't think he'll be back. He was disgruntled going into the season. Josh is going to be there for a while. It seems like they've missed their window.
We said that earlier this year, and they ended up being the second seed, and they were a play away from playing this weekend. So I agree with you. It seems like they've missed their window.
Yep.
And if I'm a Bills fan, I'm not happy with Sean McDermott. I'm just not.
Yeah. 3 straight losses to the Chiefs.
Yeah, they've had some really good regular seasons.
Knocked them out 3 of the last 4 years. But I'm not giving up on Kalen DeBoer, so I'm going to say Alabama.
I would say Alabama, too.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
Former Journey frontman Steve Perry, 75 years old today. Michael Hutchins, his birthday as well. He would have been 64. Better career, Steve Perry or Michael Hutchins? It's tough.
Help me out first. Who is Michael Hutchins? Oh, NXS.
I just feel NXS was so short-lived, but they did have the...
You say that.
Yeah, but they were amazing. I would take them. I would see them over Journey. Steve Perry just is an original voice, though.
NXS, Wake Me Up Before You Go?
Right, nope. Wham.
Oh, damn. I always get those two confused.
Never Tell Us Apart.
I like that one.
Yeah, Kick was their big album that really took them. But Listen Like These, really good. Shabu Shaba, I mean...
New Sensation. Can't say it. New Sensation.
And then what was the follow-up to Kick with Suicide Blonde? What was the name of that album?
That's what I'm saying. I think Michael Hutchins was so good.
I think there was a lot more number ones for Journey. Steve Perry did have a more... I thought the more entertaining frontman was Michael Hutchins, but obviously the better voice, Steve Perry. But I'm gonna go Michael Hutchins just because I liked NXS more.
How long has he been dead?
4 or 5 years, maybe.
Who?
Michael Hutchins.
That's been a long time.
Has it been longer than that?
Because they had that reality show where they tried to find a new singer. That was like in 2005.
Yeah,
was he the lead singer?
Yeah, he hung himself in a closet.
Need You Tonight, Never Tell Us Apart, New Sensation, Beautiful Girl, Mystify.
The rumor was, or wasn't a rumor,
97.
he got hit by a cab, he hit his head, he lost his sense of taste.
Scott says November of 97, so it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's only been 27 years.
Yeah, that's what Smuff says. Died in 97. Sadly, I remember 97 because I don't remember 97. I've been reading all weekend long that the Cowboys haven't been to the NFC Championship game since 95. And that's forever ago.
Well, the Super Bowl hadn't been won by the 49ers since 94.
So I said that Jared Goff has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott as a Lion.
As a Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. We forget Goff went to a Super Bowl 53, 2018.
Oh, we don't forget.
I don't forget.
I'm going to go Steve Perry. I like Journey. Still do. I don't like a lot of classic rock, but Journey is it. That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Britton says, saw NXS at Oak Mountain ages ago. He was hammered. Could barely string lyrics together. Speaking of hammered, can you Google
Jason Kelsey?
No, yeah, hammered Grand Ole Opry. I can't remember her name right now, but there was this country singer,
Lori Morgan.
No, she's a country singer that was singing at a Dolly Parton tribute, and she came out and started just Elle King.
That's Rob Snyder's daughter.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm effing hammered. And she started like cussing at the audience saying, I can't believe you guys bought tickets to see this blankety concert. And it is uncomfortable that she's at the Grand Ole Opry in a Dolly Parton tribute, and she's saying all this stuff. It's really bad.
Do you think she'll get invited back?
She will never sing at the Opry again, I think. Because first of all, she was supposed to be honoring Dolly Parton, who's loved by everybody,
and she made it all about herself.
Yeah, and she was hammered, and it just was really, really bad.
Well, at least Jason Kelce wasn't making it about himself yesterday.
Which I think he was just trying to take a little attention off Taylor Swift.
You think that's what he was doing?
Well, I think he's as much of a ham as she is.
I mean, the best news I heard was that Travis Kelce's retiring after this next loss. So I was just hoping they'd all go out together.
So you think he's going to retire too?
It's the word. I mean, it's no telling what they can make on their podcast now, right?
Oh, they are making it 100%. Before we go to break, tell us about our friends.
Hold on. For TikTok.
See if we got the words. Yeah, it was when she was talking before she started singing this song. She don't even know the words.
Oh, wow. I think I would trip and act like I hit my head or something.
Yeah.
And just kind of lay around or fake a seizure or something.
But it was before she started when she was just like dissing the whole show. It was horrible, uncomfortable. Tell us about our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa, my friend.
Yeah, hey, look, if you're looking for the gift of luxury, you can get it from our friends right there at the Summit. Get in, see Stuart, the fine folks up at the Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. And right now, you can order those gift cards online. Simple solution, incredible gift. All you got to do is go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services, and more. Make sure you stop in, go see the fine folks up there at the Summit, and tell them the next round sent you.
It didn't make it into our 4 downs, but Rubik's Cube is turning 50 this year. The Rubik's Cube. The guy who invented it, Erno Rubik, still alive, 79 years old, sold all his rights to it in 2021 for $55.2 million.
It's a pretty good deal. I'd take it.
Yeah, I'd take it. Do you guys know anybody that could actually solve it?
I know a few people, but I never could. I lack that brain skill.
I got to within when it. I don't know if it was when it first came out, but it was in the 80s.
The toddler version is like 4 squares.
No, I could get it to like 1, but I never could get it. I never finished it. But one time I had 1 square wrong. Like, I guess it was 1 square on each side wrong, but I could never get it correctly. Charles said he would take the stickers off, boom, and then re-stick them.
Yeah.
There were people that would do that. We would bring them to school.
Well, it comes out of the box solved, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it does.
So I just did. Y'all didn't see it?
Yeah.
I just had it.
You just do 2 twists.
And then there was so many different spins. There was like, I forgot what the shape was, but it was like, so how many sides is the Rubik's Cube? 9 times 6, is that right?
I'm out. I don't know.
Yeah, is it 54?
Well, I thought it was just 4 sides. It was just a block.
I know, but it's 4. It's like
No,
8.
it's like 6 sides.
It's a cube.
Yeah, 6 sides, yeah.
A block has 4 cubes. Yeah.
But I think the other shape was like
that's
8.
Why I've done away.
A little more difficult. I would buy that, and I couldn't even figure out the Rubik's Cube, so it made no sense. I remember Spencer's Gifts had all the knockoffs.
I'd rather do, I guess, who? Does your guy have glasses? God damn it, does he not?
The Rubik's Cube, by the way, this is what blew my mind. 455.7 million sold.
I believe it.
And Monopoly only, from what I read this morning in the Hustle My newsletter, 275 million units sold. There's got to be more Monopoly games.
Monopoly was more of a production, though. I mean, you had to sit down and put time into it. I mean, that was just such a little thing you keep on your desk. I wonder how many were in jailhouses.
But you tell me there's only been 275 million games of Monopoly sold all time?
Only? But
we've only got 300 million people in the United States.
But I at least owned 2 in my lifetime.
I don't know. We never played it as a family.
I never owned one.
But the little red car with the yellow roof that every single toddler has, like how much?
Fisher Price?
Yeah. Every single family has that little red car with a little yellow roof.
And everybody had the popper.
Remember it's like $120.
What was it, like the vacuum popper from Fisher Price?
Oh, yeah.
It's just crazy how many things of those have been sold. Every kid has one.
Yeah, well, good old Erno Rubik, who's 79, living in Budapest, made all that money and then sold it for $55 million. There we go. When we come back to college basketball and a little bit more college football for you. Final Four set in the NFL. Remember, you can play the games at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, promo code next round. And our friends at Roback, use the promo code TNR20. Get great gear from our friends at Roback, roback.com. Back in a moment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459 exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Roback. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you'll ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at Roback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at Roback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is Roback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at Roback.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Tyler just laughed at me. All of our screens went off the networks they were on, and we were getting landscape. And then I had a sequence going on where some were moving away and some were moving towards me and some were going sideways. And these big 3 screens here, I was motion sick for a second. They were not bothering you?
Nope, and I get motion sick.
Ooh, I mean, I'm a little shaky right now. By the way, Donovan Smith, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, said in the locker room, the Bills turned off the hot water for the postgame shower.
That's a little petty.
Do you believe that?
No, I do not. Now, would I be surprised if some Bills fan was able to go in there and cut the hot water heater off? Maybe not. Do I think the Bills, staffing at the stadium did it? No.
How bad was that Tyler Bass kick? Kansas City beats Buffalo, but they worked it down, a makeable field goal. It looked like it just got caught in the wind, but then I looked at the flags on top of the goalpost. They were barely moving.
Yeah, but it had to, because right when he hit it, it looked like it was going to be good, and then immediately it goes right.
Yeah, but they all, nobody kicks it straight. They all kick it with that little movement, which I don't understand how they can control that, but it looks like they can. Anders Carlson had a bad miss for Green Bay as well, and
he missed an extra point just last week.
That ultimately ended up hurting Green Bay as well. So,
but
people make fun of college kickers all the time, but there's pros right there.
And it's one thing if you're Buffalo and you're kicking to win, but the fact that you left it in a kicker's hand, and look, and Bass is really, really good. I mean, he had statistically his worst year this year, but that's a guy typically under 50. He's clutch. He makes those kicks. But if you're going for the win, I get it. But going just for the tie, to leave it in a kicker's hands, I just didn't like the play calling. I didn't like the decision by Josh Allen earlier on that possession to not go underneath, pick up the first down, and burn more clock.
Our state bet win over the weekend for LT was 4-1 with Caleb Downs. Ends up going all the way to Ohio State, not going to Georgia, as I thought it would be a lock. It ended up not being a lock. New York Butcher Shop brings us all of our stake bet payoffs.
I had an opportunity to pick up stakes from there again on Friday. I've kind of made this a Friday tradition. Little man absolutely loves it, and it's the best. The New York Butcher Shop, not only can you pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, the premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef prepared entrees and side dishes. Perfect dinner to go choice for your family, ready to heat at home with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in, see Jim and the guys. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
UAB basketball's won 8 of 9. Their only loss on the road at Florida Atlantic. Eric Gaines with 17. They win over the weekend. They're 4-1 in conference play. Big game Sunday in the Bartow Classic. Bartow Arena. Get your tickets if you're UAB fans. Sanford has the nation's longest win streak, 17 straight. They beat Mercer over the weekend. For Sanford, they've got a couple of road games coming up later in the week. Tennessee dominated Alabama by 20. Dalton Knecht had 25 points. The latest KenPom, when the games were over yesterday, had Tennessee at number 4 in the country. Houston, Purdue, Arizona, Tennessee. Auburn destroyed Ole Miss. Defense good there. Bruce Pearl, Stephen Pearl, both doing a heck of a coaching job. Bruce said Stephen had the game plan against Ole Miss. Auburn is number 5 in the KenPom. So it's Houston, Purdue, Arizona, Tennessee, Auburn. Auburn ahead of UConn and North Carolina. Alabama holding on at 8 in the KenPom. BYU and Illinois rounding out your top 10. Kentucky's down at 16. New AP ranking coming out at the top of the hour. I did want to get to this bit of news. In basketball, Caitlyn Clark, there's a discussion. I don't want to ever get rid of court rushing. I do think we need to be able to get the visiting team off the court or off the football field. But this incident happened, if you were watching right before the playoff game started on NBC. That's Caitlyn Clark leaving the court and an Ohio State female running onto the court to celebrate as Ohio State upset Iowa. And Caitlyn says that she had the wind knocked out of her, but you see there,
I mean, she went down like she got shot.
Yeah, there is something about watching this video that she is an unbelievable basketball player, but
it's over the top. And I can't believe it was running on the ticker yesterday during the game.
Yeah, it does. I mean, obviously, it's not intentional by the young lady, and you see the Ohio State folks working to get the players off. I mean, it's just an accident.
Knocking the breath out of her. They had to drag her out, though.
Yeah.
The more shocking thing is that you had a women's game where they stormed the court.
Well, I mean, Iowa was 18-1, I think, and Ohio State nationally ranked, beat them at home. Caitlyn Clark gets a lot of love. Ross Bjork, the new athletic director at Ohio State, apologized to her apparently before she even went in for the news conference.
But that other chick just got right up, shrugged it off, went and celebrated.
Didn't even apologize.
She did not.
She's got to take harder screens in a regular game than that, right?
See, I thought that's the way it would play over here. Nick, that was a LeBron James level flop. Jake, she flopped and milked it. John, soccer flop.
She did milk it.
Yeah. Chris says, I guess the fan couldn't see her.
Yeah, she's only 6'1", right?
Yeah.
Pasty white and 6'1". Of course, she might have blended into the court.
She was the fan was she was on the gram there. There's always going to be a push to. I think it was Matt Painter who was complaining after Purdue lost at Nebraska about the court rush. We do need to get the players and the other team off the field. You don't want it to turn into what happened to Alabama and Tennessee up in Knoxville. I'm trying to think like at Auburn Arena. Not that Auburn ever rushes the court, but if they did, the visitors would have to walk basically through the students rushing the court. Somehow the visiting bench needs to be close to an exit to where you don't have to intersect the students. Like at Alabama football, Tennessee, the Alabama players had to go through where the students were coming from to get to where the locker room is.
Yeah, remind me the last time at Neville or at Coleman that you've had a court rush.
To me, Coleman was when Petway put that one back to win the SEC regular season against Florida.
Did they rush it?
Seemed like they did.
Hell, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance Wednesday night, if Alabama beats Auburn, tight game, the students would rush the court?
I don't know. I'm bad at predicting that. I've lost the stake, in fact.
No, yeah. What was the situation with that one?
I think it was Alabama-Auburn. And I just thought it had gotten to, I think it was maybe right after the trip to the Final Four or something, that I thought maybe it would rise up to Alabama rushing the floor. And it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I will not bet on that one again. Daniel, no chance Coleman would rush. I'm just interested to see how many Auburn people will be in the building over at Coleman. Like I saw some people bragging they'd gotten tickets for as low as 30. Young Reed checked them earlier. It was 100 and a little over 100 get in right now. But $30
Are you
ticket.
going?
I'll be there. Yeah, Little T and I are going to cover it on the platform for everyone at Next Round Live. Be with us on Wednesday night, and we'll give you some pregame and some postgame stuff from over in Coleman Coliseum. It's going to be a big game. Looking forward to it. Auburn's defensive coordinating search may be winding down. The name that everyone seems to be focused on after you tell us about our friends at Harbin's Outdoors.
Yeah, I was talking earlier. I needed to get that backyard redone. Not only the simple fact that it just looked awful, but Chili and Bullet needed a place to play and to go out back. And so Harbin's Outdoors, you can see it right there. Complete transformation. Jeremy and his team, they specialize in installing custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, hardscaping. Jeremy and his team, one-stop shop for your pool construction needs. They do it all from the install to the lighting, the final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. It's beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbin's_outdoors. See it for yourself or call or text Jeremy directly. 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718 at Harbin's. You and your home are the center of all that they do. Call them today and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Everyone who covers Auburn, including our buddy Justin Hokanson, have been focusing and centering around DJ Durkin as the likely next defensive coordinator at Auburn. He has not been hired officially yet. Last 4 seasons in the SEC as a defensive coordinator. 2 at Ole Miss, 2 at Texas A&M. Auburn's defense last year, 10th in the SEC. A&M was 5th in the SEC, so quite an improvement there. And before Nick Saban retired, I'd heard a lot of talk about DJ Durkin joining that coaching staff over in Tuscaloosa. Kevin Steele had walked away before before Nick had decided to walk away. And DJ Durkin had become a popular name in Tuscaloosa with that retirement, and that pretty much the new staff in place over in Tuscaloosa. Auburn and DJ Durkin seem to be on a collision course to be teamed up together moving forward. Your thoughts on Durkin as a defensive coordinator?
Well, look, he's had 3 different stops in the SEC. Back in the day, Florida, Ole Miss, this year A&M. He was the National Recruiter of the Year just a decade ago. He's only 46 years old. So, I think you're getting a lot of positive. This is a guy that is well respected, one of the better defensive minds in college football. And, I guess the only negative, and it's a big negative for a lot of people, was back in 2018 when he was leading a Maryland program and player died under his watch. And, one of the reasons, or the main reason that he was, let go, and he's had to rebuild that reputation. And I think he's done a pretty good job with it.
Toxic culture was the official ruling of why he was eventually dismissed at Maryland. But a couple of times, Nick Saban tried to bring him into Tuscaloosa. It looks like Hugh Freeze is on his way to getting his new defensive coordinator down at Auburn, DJ Durkin. They introduced co-defensive coordinator Charles Kelly and Derek Nix at the basketball game at Neville Arena over the weekend. And so that coaching staff going through a change, but a lot of positive signs for Auburn football with that new look roster there. When we come back, Dan Wetzel joins the show. Wetzel he's a Michigan guy. He's going to tell us the reaction in Detroit to what he saw yesterday. He was there at the Buccaneers-Lions game. But we'll also talk to Wetzel about Jim Harbaugh, the season he had at Michigan, and he has a lot of stuff first on Harbaugh's discussion with the NFL, whether or not he goes forward or not. Wetzel's on the show next. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, keeping things going. They gave you best and worst of the weekend earlier. They also bring you Lance'sLock.com. Big week last week for you at Lance'sLock.com. Great time to sign up now and get a great discount on the playoffs.
Yeah, couldn't stick the landing this weekend. Again, a 3-0 start yesterday. We lose our last 4, go 3-4 on a Sunday, but we bounce back today. 2 plays up right now. Am I telling you about Lance's Lock or Hemp Hill?
Lance'sLock.com and our friends at Hemp Hill who bring you Lance's Lock every day.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And then Lance'sLock.com, and we can sign up how at Lance'sLock.com? Just go to the website.
Yeah, just go to the website. Free play every single day at Lance'sLock.com. Again, 2 plays up, 1 in the NBA, 1 in college hoops tonight. Lance'sLock.com. $100 a month, that's all it is, but you can get a free play every single day right there online at Lance'sLock.com.
Okay, back in a moment with Dan Wetzel.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Rhoback. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you'll ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at Rhoback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at Rhoback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is Rhoback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at Rhoback.com.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the next round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Rhoback. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you'll ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at Rhoback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at Rhoback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is Rhoback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at Rhoback.com.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Dan Wetzel in just a second to talk about how good it is to be in the state of Michigan. Who's got it better than the state of Michigan? Nobody right now. Wolverines and Lions. We'll talk to Wetzel in just a second. Our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Provider want to make sure you've got it better than everyone else when it comes to your health. Whether you tweaked a shoulder this holiday season, whether you've hurt a knee playing pickleball, or anything in between, they can take care of you. Remember the number 205-512-3885, 512-3885, or the website precisionsportsortho.com/2024. They'll take care of all your orthopedic needs. Let 2024 be the year Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics gets your life back on track. Orthopedic care, better together. Find your provider today. Again, that phone number, 205-512-3885. 512-3885, or visit precisionsportsortho.com/2024. In the chat room, Charlie's saying also the defensive coordinator at Michigan, talking about DJ Durkin, I assume, is who he was speaking of. Was DJ ever at Michigan? Rockstar mentioned Charlie earlier, lifelong everything Michigan fan. And Rockstar said, I'm a Lions fan, but not as long as Charlie. That Detroit's, the whole city there, it's going pretty good for them. Wolverines dominate that city more than
it's not going well for the Pistons, but
Pistons are killing them right now.
But I'm just saying, to finally have the Wolverines win a national championship and the Lions to be good, and it's going on at the same time, it's pretty good.
Yeah, when we get Wetzel on, it's interesting to talk about, what he believes is more important for that city. Is it the Lions or was it Michigan? And this is kind of what you got with when Georgia finally broke through. They won a national championship the first time in 40 years, and the Braves won one in the same year. And Atlanta sports fans had so many heartbreaking moments going back to the Super Bowl where the Falcons are up 28-3. But for Georgia football and for the Braves to do it the same year, this would be Michigan and the Lions in the same year. Can't even imagine it.
Just an unbelievable scene. I mean, there are some great atmospheres in the National Football League, but nothing like you've seen the last 2 weeks there at Ford Field. Dan Wetzel, Yahoo Sports columnist, New York Times best-selling author, friend of the show. He joins us now. If I put over under 49.5%, hangovers not at work today in Detroit, where do you put that number, Wetzel?
Yeah, probably pretty good number. Maybe a little. I think they fight through it. And show up at work. But yeah, you might want to check if your car was assembled on January 22nd. Bolts might be a little loose in that Silverado one day. I don't know. But it was a scene at Ford Field. You're saying last 2 weeks it was just great. The pent up. I always thought Ford Field would be a great NFL venue if they ever could have a real team, and there were times that they'd get it going, but it's like a 66,000 it seats, and it's a low roof. It's not really a dome; it's just a big building, and that low roof, opposed to like Jerry's World or some of the others, like it just keeps the noise down, and there's no wasted space in there because it's really built right in the middle of downtown Detroit. So it just gets so loud. And, the press box is way at the top. It's the highest, farthest from the field seats, and it's ostensibly the quietest place on the in the building, right? The field would be louder, and you can't really talk to the guy next to you when the Lions are on defense. It just gets rocking in there. The fans are great. They're excited. It's definitely played a big role in the last two games for Detroit.
Dan, if I took you back to August and I said, what would be more important for the city of Detroit? Michigan winning a national championship, their first outright, and I forgot how many years because they split in 97, or Detroit winning their first Super Bowl?
Oh, the Lions. The NFL rules everywhere. I don't think there's an NFL market where a college victory would mean more. I mean, there are certainly a lot of Michigan fans. They got the biggest stadium in the country, and they don't lack for fans, but they're still, they don't. It's a college team. It's not a pro team, and so there's a lot of people don't follow college football like they do the NFL. Although it's the second biggest sport in the country, but it's not first. You have an enormous amount of Michigan State alums, and just in Detroit, just alums from all over the country, particularly the Big Ten. So that they're not rooting for Michigan. An NFL team when they get rolling is unlike. Any pro team can really dominate a market, but almost nothing quite like the NFL. So if Lions win the Super Bowl, will absolutely eclipse a Michigan national championship.
I'm interested because yesterday it timed out perfectly. What was it? 3 years since Dan Campbell was introduced, and then during the broadcast they talked about the owner when she took over the organization sort of changed the way the business, both the business side and the football side did things there. When this all started, when you heard Dan Campbell talking about biting off kneecaps or whatever he said in his news conference, they had a plan. You got to give them a little pat on the back for sticking to their plan through a pretty slow start to get to this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, Campbell was, it was obviously a memorable press conference. And you listen to him, he has these long answers and tortured metaphors. He's got great metaphors, and you kind of learn more about him during Hard Knocks and then the daily press conference. He's constantly bringing up these examples and stuff like that. It's just the way he talks. And so it's everyone was hiring these kind of cerebral. It's like every coach was like this cerebral, skinny white guy with like a goatee, right?
Right.
Who's going to carve up play. Like everyone was getting the same kind of guy. And they all had worked with Sean McVay or something and gone to like Mount Union College or I don't know. And then Detroit hires this former tight end who's just, he's just grunting and it's all this stuff. And he's huge, he's 6'5", and he still looks like he could play. And he's got these just huge shoulder. Like he looks bigger than 6'5", right? He is a presence. And sometimes when I remember John Thompson talking about this once, when you're physically imposing, people underestimate your intelligence. They assume you're just physically imposing and you're slow and you're big and dumb. You're the big dumb jock. And obviously there's no correlation to that, right? It's just our perception, but you could be, whatever. There's not a, it's no, you can have a high IQ and be 6'6". It doesn't really matter. And that's the thing with Dan Campbell. I think with the goatee and the muscles and the way he talks, people don't think he doesn't sound intelligent, but he's very intelligent. And the way they run their program, the way they pick players, he and Brad Holmes have done an incredible job bringing in talent. The courage, the conviction they have of who they want. Like last year's draft class got panned for the guys that they took. Including Gibbs out of Alabama. People, I can't take a running back at 12. They're like, this guy is going to be a game breaker for us. And you saw it, both passing and saw last night, 31-yard touchdown run that really pushed the game over. He wasn't supposed to take Sam Laporta in the second round. There were better tight ends, or that was too early for that pick. He's panned out great. Different guys that they've taken that they've picked on, and they're like, no, this is our guy. So there's a lot of conviction in who they built. They did a great job trading Stafford away and turning those picks into a lot of good players. And that's really what they have. They have, I don't know, they have a superstar. I don't know if they have anyone on the all-pro. Some of their linemen, maybe Frank Ragnow or something like that, Penei Sewell, but they don't have superstar talent, but they have really good players all over the field. And I think that's really been the magic of Dan Campbell. He kind of sounds like a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's like your nightmare position coach in high school, just yelling about pad levels and stuff. But in fact, he's way more intelligent and more together than you think.
Dan, rarely do we get a win-win in a trade situation, but going back to March of 2021, me being a Rams fan, when I got the news, I was like, Stafford's going to win a Super Bowl and Goff is going to be exiled into Detroit and the guy's never going to do anything again. But, I mean, this has been a true win-win for both organizations, and you credit Brad Holmes for his time with Goff in L.A. that he still saw that this guy could kind of reinvent himself. But the Goff storyline is just incredible, is it not?
It really is, and you're right. It has been a win-win. Rams needed Stafford, who Goff's played great this playoffs, but Stafford is a different level of player. I mean, they played last week. You're at the game, and and throughout Stafford's career, some of the throws the guy makes, it's just the arm strength. He never was Mahomes in the big games, but I think he kind of, I don't know, he didn't invent it, but he perfected that underarm, sidearm, just absolute bullet that has kind of become more common now. But yeah, they go win the championship with Stafford, and now they take those picks and get something out of it. And Goff, I was like, I was like, they should trade Goff for another round of picks and just start all new and get someone out of the college draft. I thought Goff was okay, but not that good. And what I really impressed with him is he's a California guy. He's from the Bay Area. He playing in LA. Goes to the Super Bowl, takes them to a Super Bowl. They lose the Patriots. He gets tossed to a 3-win team that just traded away Matthew Stafford, probably the least talented team in the league. And instead of just being like, all right, I'm here to collect my money, this is going to be a short time thing, he really poured himself into the program and the leadership and all the work he does in the city and trying to win in Detroit and seizing the opportunity. There was never any like head down, like this stinks. This is what I was planning on. And it's really paid off. It's an impressive story for anyone who's just been cast off. I mean, he had to watch his old team win the Super Bowl the next year without him. And the Lions only won 3 games or 4, whatever, another one of their seasons. And he never gave up. So he's playing great right now. Hasn't had an interception in the playoffs. And he's an easy guy to root for in this team.
Reports are the Falcons have scheduled that second interview with Jim Harbaugh coming off a national championship. Ultimately, what do you think happens here?
With Harbaugh or the Falcons?
Harbaugh.
Both. Harbaugh, I mean, somebody offers him a good job, he's going to take it. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You wouldn't spend this much time interviewing for all these things, whether that's the Falcons or the Chargers. We'll see. It's funny. The NFL has a much healthier system than college football, right? College football is like everything's got to be done in the next 3 seconds. And, it's just crazy, right? Instead of sitting down, let's have a talk. Let's think about it. Let's have another talk. It's just like we hired a guy in 4 hours. And so, it's interesting to see where this will head up. Chargers are obviously the place that makes a lot of sense for Harbaugh, but Atlanta is interesting too. Atlanta's also had 2 interviews with Bill Belichick. I wish they would put this stuff on NFL Network. Imagine the Belichick Harbaugh double dip interviews. That'd be fascinating. Like totally different. Like I don't know what you ask. What do you ask Belichick? Yeah. How do you interview Bill Belichick on football? Like, does he just answer every question with the Falcons? Well, there was that time I was down 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Maybe that was like, what are we doing? Anyway, I think Harbaugh will go to the NFL if he gets the right job, but someone's got to offer him that job. If not, he'll come back to Michigan.
Is he really trying to get a immunity clause in that contract at Michigan to where anything that has happened before now, he can't be the Bill Self clause, I call it, because Bill Self got it at Kansas. Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of people try to get that, and he's trying to get it in the past and then the future because they're putting this strict liability rule is now in, and so as a head coach, you are now if anybody on your staff commits a level 1 violation, you are also charged or responsible for that level 1 violation. And in the past, you could just sit there and say, I didn't know what this guy was doing. And they created this rule, I think, out of good intention, because how many years did we watch, like, a basketball coach, and he has this associate head coach for like 20 years, and the guy, he's the bag man, and the guy, I had no idea, and he gets away with it. But in football, I mean, you're talking about 100-person staffs. I mean, you're talking huge groups of people. And so it's the strict liability can get you in NCAA trouble, but any coaching contract currently that has a level 1 violation is you can fire with cause, and they don't get any of their money. And so I think Harbaugh is going to start the trend of everybody getting a deal where it says, hey, if one of my this guy or that, a staffer, in this case, it'd be Connor Stallions, a staffer is calling his buddies and having them film games on his iPhone. I didn't know anything about it. Not losing my $60 million contract over this. I think it's going to be an interesting trend. The NCAA believes in that. I don't know if employment law will. I think the contracts will reflect that these coaches aren't going for that deal.
Dan Wetzel telling us about the Detroit folks fighting through it today after the Lions win, and a little information on Jim Harbaugh that all you guys have been interested in. Dan, thank you so much. And as always, would you tell all the new Swifties about your Epic Athletes book? That's got you on the New York Times bestselling. Is that a Patrick Mahomes one over your shoulder?
Got Mahomes back there. Yeah, I don't have a Kelsey. I don't have a Taylor. I should have done a Taylor Swift. That is a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll be working on that. Taylor's greatest. That was like the greatest look at me box of all time, right? You had Taylor, Mahomes' wife, and then Jason Kelsey, shirtless.
Yeah, shirtless.
And I said this, you've got to be blacked out because I've done it before. It's been a long time, but to take the shirt off in public, you got to be black out.
Well, I saw you drank something out of a bowling ball earlier.
That's the first step.
I mean, you're in the NFL for how many years? Like we all go to games and we have to work, right? It's fun, great jobs, but you pull up and it's like there's meat smoking and dudes crushing beers, and you're like, I don't want to go in there. I want to stay out here. Yeah. So he does that all those years, and he's finally like, first game since my retirement. He had some pent up. There was a lot of pent up tailgating in Jason Kelsey, and I just love he's there to support the Chiefs, but he's like, hell no, I'm getting in my Bill Mafia, and they embrace him, of course. So good scene there.
Yeah, we've referenced Ishmael, Randy Quaid, and Kingpin when he got out of Amish country. That's what you saw with Kelsey yesterday.
You were Jason Kelsey nipple shots, though. I could go out. I could do without that one.
All right. He's Dan Wetzel, man. Dan, thank you for the time. Have a great rest of your week, and good luck if you're traveling to San Francisco. Safe travels.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, man. Dan Wetzel, Yahoo Sports columnist, New York Times bestseller there. And also, if you never watch it on Netflix, the Aaron Hernandez documentary is the good stuff there. Right there on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, JohnstonRVCenter.com, and the show being brought to you by Dr. B. Tell us about Dr. B. Tyler Booker, Alabama lineman, coming up in the very next segment. He'll be with us to talk about the State of the Union in Tuscaloosa.
For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. When I started to thin out, I asked around. Everyone said Dr. Beckenstein is the guy you need to go see. I do the non-invasive treatment, 30 minutes, 3 times a week on the couch. That's all I'm doing. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made. Set up the consultation today, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
This hour always brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, officially open for lunch now. Been open for 7 minutes now. Temperatures are warming up a bit, but nothing better this time of year than a nice hot meal, right? Nice hot meal at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119. They brine that chicken overnight, cooked to order. I like the 2 big white meat breasts there. They're fantastic, all the sides. But those things in the top center, if you're watching on our video platforms, that is the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. They're the best in the business. A little spice to them right there. Hand-cut chicken fingers and so much more. It's champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. The chat's talking about how, Jim Harbaugh is still going to make this decision and what that possibly could mean for Michigan. I think they'll just go Sherrone Moore. There'll be no search. I don't think it'll be Brian Kelly. I don't think it'll be anyone else.
I
think they just go Sherrone Moore. And
if they do have back channels that Brian Kelly will take the job if offered, I think you would have to go Brian Kelly over Moore. As good of a job as he did in those 6 games.
And I was just wondering, though, off of that, and they were discussing this in the chat, it worked out at Alabama where you did not have an heir apparent. If Nick Saban had left 1 year when Kirby had not gotten the Georgia job yet, Kirby probably would have taken over. If Nick had retired right after 2020, if they'd have known he was going to do that, Sark was there before he took the Texas job. Sark could have taken over at Alabama, and all these rosters, the roster would have stayed in place, right?
Yeah, but I mean, how many of these teams right now, if you just look at the premier teams in college football, they would have their guy on staff. If Ryan Day got fired, they don't have their guy on staff.
No.
If Kirby Smart, that guy's not on staff right now, right?
No, he was for a moment, but
LSU,
he would have eventually left Alabama for Georgia. In my belief, Kirby would have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if Dan Lanning would have left Oregon, you don't have the guy there.
No, you don't.
I'm just saying the majority of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, you don't have the candidate sitting right there.
Well, I will tell you that we've been talking for a few days now about how we believe eventually Kalen DeBoer is going to be the guy. Got to stay patient and work through the bumps and everything along the way, but eventually he'll be the guy. Let's bring in Tyler Booker and sort of get the State of the Union from Tuscaloosa. Tyler's presented by Craneworks, the big guy who says rent from the big dog. Tyler, the first thing I want to ask you, man, is how you doing? How you doing with all this change and everything? Personally, you're sort of family up here to us. How are you doing?
Man, I'm great. You know what I mean? I'm just very excited for the future. Of course, we're going to miss Coach Saban, but it's a new era now. And me personally, I've been through so many changes in my football career thus far. This is just another day at the office. You know what I mean? I have 4 different head coaches in high school, so that's 4 different cultures I had to adapt to. So I'm just excited to adapt to a new culture now and maintain the one that we have.
Yeah, these weeks all run together. I mean, I know it's been more insane for you guys, but obviously a lot of stuff going on with us covering this. But when did you first find out that Nick Saban was retiring, and then when was the first time you heard the name Kalen DeBoer?
So we found out Coach Saban was retiring. I think the national championship was a Monday. We found out the following, so that Wednesday. So 2 days after the national championship is when we found out. We found out when everybody else found out. You know what I mean? We found out right before everybody else found out. He wanted to make sure that we were the first to know and make sure that we didn't find out on social media. But so he told us, and the coaches found out 5 minutes before us. So that's something that really he really had to decide on, and it was a tough decision for him to make. But he made the best decision for him, and he's had one of the most successful careers in the sports world. So he really deserves it. But I first heard the name Kalen DeBoer probably about, I think it was 3 days after that Friday. So that Friday is when I heard Kalen DeBoer. I think when the hire was made officially. So everything happened really fast.
What's the impression of not only Kalen DeBoer, but the guys he's brought with him and the new folks who have shown up in town? Because if you had no ties to Alabama or anything, you watched what Washington did this year, and you had to be impressed with their offense. So tell me about the meeting. What do you think of him and the coaching staff? And I guess a little positive news maybe for the Alabama fans out there.
Yeah, I like Coach DeBoer a lot. And the first thing that he said that stuck with me was that his non-negotiable. He had 3 non-negotiables, and the first thing that he mentioned was family and togetherness, like playing for one another. And that's something that kind of turned the tide for us, no pun intended, since I've been here. So I see it as since I've been here, and the new era for us started when I think the alum weren't too happy with us having green mouthpieces, and this was Bryson Wills last year, and they weren't too happy about that, and that kind of rubbed us the wrong way. And so we all came together and we decided that we were all going to wear green mouthpieces. So I feel like that kind of togetherness kicked off the success that we had this year, and it's going to roll into this coming year. You know what I mean? So this past offseason, we had a lot more team events, and that allowed us to really bond and really develop relationships with one another. So instead of that being like, oh, that's just one of the linebackers, no, that's one of my best friends on the team.
So in today's NIL, there's tampering. And we said this earlier. We were talking about your teammate right there, part of your unit, Kaden Proctor, goes to Iowa, and he said, they hit me up. and look, I mean, Dunaway and I both said if we were coaches, whether an assistant or a head coach, we would keep in touch with guys that we recruited just because of how active the portal is. You don't have to give us any names, but do you get hit up on a regular basis by other coaching staffs?
No, I was hit up. The only other time I was hit up by coaching staff, a few coaching staffs reached out to me last year, before going into my sophomore season. So that year, and only one coaching staff hit me up since Coach Saban retired. But everybody really knows not to hit me up because they know my stance on Alabama, and they pretty much know how I feel about this program. And then if you ask anybody here about me, they're gonna know that I'm really big on loyalty. I'm really big on family, you know what I mean? And I'm big on family, and I'm big on legacy. And what I've accomplished so far, what we've accomplished so far, of course we got to go out and win a national championship, but I wouldn't trade what I've done so far for the world. So,
I get asked all the time. People are like, I'm so worried about all these people that are leaving. Should I be worried? And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of talent walking out. But then again, there's a lot of talent walking out every year. What about the guys who are still there? So for the fan that's still struggling with this, tell them how they should feel about so many people leaving and how you guys who are still there are handling this on a day in and day out basis.
It's really a next man up mentality. You know what I mean? You come to Alabama to really get developed and really take advantage of the opportunity that's being presented to you. So there's a lot of opportunity on the table right now, and we have guys capable of stepping up and stepping into those spots and taking advantage of their opportunity. So that's one. We have the talent in-house, but obviously the portal works both ways. Once it opens up in the spring, we'll be able to add more additions if need be. But I feel like we have everything in-house that we need in order to go on another national championship run. So everything's going to work out, and just stay excited for the season because we definitely are.
I mean, were you surprised, borderline shocked that some of your teammates? I mean, when you look at the portal rankings, 4 of the top 10 guys were Alabama guys, and 3 of those guys were proven guys that you played with this year. Was there any shock or surprise these guys left?
There was a little bit. There was a little bit of shock and surprise that some guys leave, but of course we wish them the best. We wish them nothing but success, but it's on to the next. You know what I mean? They didn't want to be here, or they think they have better opportunities elsewhere, and that's a day and age we're in when it comes to college football. So take advantage of the opportunity presented. Of course, we wanted you here, but you got to do what's best for you, and we'll do what's best for us.
Our man Tyler Booker, presented by Craneworks, the big guy, says rent from the big dog. Craneworks all the time. Check them out online for all your renting needs to all the big jobs you have. For the guys who've decided to stay, and the ones that have been outspoken like you, nobody's been more outspoken than you, but some have joined, like Malachi and Jalen and Deontay and others. What's that like when you see someone else walk back into the room and say, I'm not going anywhere, man. I'm with you, Tyler. I'm with you, Jalen. I'm riding with you guys.
Yeah, that was a conversation that we had. Like we all had a conversation, and we looked at where we were this past year, and we really broke it down. Like, guys, we are 7 points away from being where we need to be, and we have the guy in the coaching staff that got where we wanted to be. You know what I mean? And so we're so close, and that's just what I'm preaching to everybody, and that's what we really told each other. And that's why it was so easy for me to say, like, look, guys, we're 7 points away, and we're only going to get better. Like, we're a young team, and we're still going to continue to develop. And this offense that we're going to inherit from Coach DeBoer is something very different from the SEC, the typical SEC offense. So I'm excited to go out and take the field with him and do some new things out there. But yeah, we're 7 points away. To have those guys behind me and to have all of us have the same mindset and me behind them, it's really encouraging to know that we all have the same mindset. When you have that togetherness, that one track mind, it's really hard for people to knock you off.
Yeah, I don't know if this has been laid out yet, but do you know what the offseason is going to look like? How different it will be from Nick Saban's offseason to Kalen DeBoer's offseason?
Not necessarily. So we did keep the same strength and conditioning staff. So from that aspect, everything will be the same more than likely. Of course, things are going to change just because Coach DeBoer, he's the guy now. He's going to want to bring some things in that he thinks made him successful at Washington. But the thing that I really like about Coach DeBoer, he was like, okay, what made y'all successful? And like, what do we need to keep? Like, what is a tradition piece? What is a culture piece that we need to keep? You know what I mean? Because we want to keep things similar, but we also want to add some changes as well. But Coach DeBoer has been really receptive to the feedback we've given him about certain things that are in place here that need to stay in place.
Before you go, you don't have to give me details, but have you seen a full playbook? Have you been able to start taking a look and studying, and terminology will be different, everything will be different? I assume you've got to learn a new offense, right?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen a playbook yet, but I have gone back and watched some of their bigger games. So I watched both of the Oregon games, and those are really entertaining. And I like how they run the offense, and they do a great job of mixing things up, and they're not predictable at all. So I'm excited to go out and take the field, and we have SEC speed now. They have SEC speed now, so I'm very excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, that's Tyler Booker, man. I know a lot of Alabama fans are in our chat right now, thanking you for being outspoken and hanging around. So from all of them in the chat room, they say a big thank you. Tyler, enjoy your day, enjoy the classes, and the very much your hometown weather we've been having here lately. We're ready for it to get hot again. God. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I feel very at home right now.
Tyler, thank you, man. That's Tyler Booker, presented by Craneworks, the big guy who says rent from the big dog. And Tyler Booker, big dog with Bama fans right now. Michael, you're the man, Tyler. AT, we love you, T-Book. EVH93, he's the best. Just some of the stuff rolling in over there. Yellowhammer, Roll Tide, Tyler Booker on the show. Brought to you in part today by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. They will help you get that roof right. I mean, it's your biggest investment, right? Your home. For most people it is anyway. And the roof protects your home. Why not get it inspected for free? Free, no-cost roof inspection, no obligation. Greg Nelson, Storm Restoration Roofing, better known as Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. A-plus rated with a Better Business Bureau. You can just jump into the chat and ask the great folks in the chat room that have used Greg from Pell City, hey, what do you guys think of Greg? And they'll give you rave reviews over there. It's great to be A-plus rated with a Better Business Bureau, but when you're A-plus rated in our chat, that says a lot right there. So many of you have used him already. Share it with the other folks. Let them know how awesome Greg from Pell City is. Look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, or this is his cell number, 205-542-3531. He is A-plus rated. Insurance companies trust him. He'll replace your roof. He'll repair storm damage, and he'll give you a free no-cost roof inspection. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. If you're a Bama fan, you got to like that guy, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because I think there is something, and again, it's hard to take a shot at a kid that's 19, 20 years old that's going to be making, more money than 95% of our population. But at the same time, there's something to loyalty. I'm sure Tyler Booker probably could have gotten more money to go somewhere else. And these are the things. He has become the minority. There is not going to be a guy that's going to be loyal, that's going to start his college career somewhat. I don't know what the percentage would be. What do you think? About 15% of guys will start one place and end at that same place?
Well, we see it in the pros now. Like, you don't have a lot of guys who play just with one franchise. It's a rarity to have a Derek Jeter.
Or a Kobe Bryant.
Or maybe a Jason Kelsey if he walks away. I can't believe I just put Kelsey in there with Kobe and Derek Jeter. But, one of the reasons he's thinking about retirement is because he may be a cut from the Eagles organization because of his age.
Yeah, look, and in the NFL professionally, it's a little bit different. I know some people will say these guys are professionals now, but you can stay somewhere 3 years if you really want to and then go on to the NFL.
Yeah, so we'll see how this Alabama roster continues to grow. He is very confident on what they still have in Tuscaloosa and the people they're going to hang around. So there you go. Tyler Booker on the show today. We appreciate him being with us. When we come back, we will get to trash. LT's got that for us. Champy's Chicken brings you this hour. If you're hungry for a great lunch, maybe you're tired of eating the other stuff, how about some deep southern fried chicken from Champy's? Highway 119 in Alabaster. You can check out their whole menu and everything at champyschicken.com. Go enjoy that lunch and dinner today and on the weekends for the big games. champyschicken.com.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
There's only one Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Alabama may be seeing a familiar face in week 1 of the opposing quarterback. We'll tell you who it is right after LT tells us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her The Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, I still have 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, TJ Finley is off to his 4th school. He's on his way to Western Kentucky. So LSU, Auburn, Texas State, Western Kentucky from Texas State. And I'm right about that. That's Alabama's first game, right? Western Kentucky, Alabama?
Yeah, the weird thing is he just doesn't seem to be a fit in that Tyson Helton offense.
Which is throw, right?
Now, look, he looked much better this year at Texas State than what we saw with LSU or Auburn. So this is going to be stop number 4. Yeah, and I saw Keith when I said 15%. He said, wow. But I'm just talking about beginning their career one place and at least playing a full 3 years and then going to the NFL, never playing for another school. I think that number is going to be about maybe 1 out of 5, maybe up to 20%. It's not going to be heavy, though.
There's 4 schools right there. You guys are commenting, Royal Payne, in discussing Alabama's movement after Tyler Booker. He's like he likes Jeremy Bernard better than Isaiah Bond. Now, Bernard was a 4-star guy at Michigan State, then to Washington, where, the 3 NFL receivers ahead of him. He was sort of the 4th receiver, really big as a return guy. So he's got a skill set. If I said Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Bond, are they like same set type receivers for you?
Well, when Jalen McMillan was out, that's when Bernard got his opportunity and made the most of it. Hey, look, when you play in that system with a great quarterback, and Michael Penix Jr., I think you could say was a great quarterback over the last couple of years, being the runner-up to winning the Heisman this year, guys are going to have opportunities. But I think Bernard's going to have those opportunities, and I would say those are kind of equivalent players right now.
Yeah, me too. Before we get to trash, I will ask you guys this question. Rockstar, LT may know the answer to this because he still mails things. How much does a stamp cost today?
Oh, stamp I would say is 52 cents.
You remember I told you guys about the Franklin privilege.
Where
you get to mail things for free depending on what your organization is. Remember, without having to pay for postage. That's not me. I don't know. I will buy a book at your occasional grocery store, and that book will last me about 3 or 4 months.
Those are called forever stamps because no matter if the price increases, you buy the forever stamp. As long as you've got them, you don't have to pay the extra.
I didn't even know that. I would say a stamp now is 75 cents.
Okay, you're too low, you're too high. The forever stamp in 2007 was 41 cents. A new uptick today, 68 cents is what the forever stamp
said
is.
it's not going up again. They always say, like, this is it. Not going up again.
Not going up again. 68 cents. Where do you get stamps?
Grocery store.
Grocery store. Yeah.
So I can buy them at the grocery store.
Yeah, and when you go through the cashier,
once you're checking out, just say, hey, can I get a book of stamps?
Yeah. Do you ever get them?
I used to. Like, paying bills, like, now everything is pretty much digital, which is scary. But I think we do the mortgage, we do mail. So that's one.
Yeah, so I don't mail the mortgage anymore. But, I mean, I've got a couple that, I don't know. Well, I guess you could set it up. I just haven't.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pain.
Last time you cut a check.
That's why they're going up, because hardly anybody's using them.
Yeah. I don't even know where our checkbook is. See, I know you guys are not big debit card users, but I am a debit card user.
Oh, I am, yeah.
See, I haven't used I don't think I've ever used a debit card.
So you're either cash or credit card because you get points. I need a different credit card because my credit card points, they laughed at me the other day because the only rewards I have, I got probably would have been middle of my 2010 maybe is when I got this credit card, and it was Banana Republic. I mean, I was in TV, so it gave me such great discounts on clothes. I was having to buy new clothes all the time. And now I've got all these points, and I don't buy new clothes anymore. I wear sweats to work every day. So I do need something that gives me travel or something.
They don't have nice sweats, like a $400 pair of sweatpants?
They do, I guess. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I have all these reward points now from Banana Republic that I don't even use anymore.
I have just started to use points a little bit.
Yeah. I need something for travel or
so
or
I used
food.
to, and I've still got it. It's a Visa Southwest Airlines credit card because I used to fly Southwest a lot. And I would get flights like once a quarter. I would get enough, but it just doesn't add up. And Southwest kind of sucks now.
Yeah. All right. And Michael, you're right. Roback does have the elite sweats. Roback. Use promo code TNR20. TNR20 for all your gear there. Roback.com. 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 It is time for Trash. Rockstar, the big button, please.
Now, I will say that I have not showered in front of other dudes in years, but I've taken hundreds of showers in front of other guys.
Well,
I have showered with more guys than I have women.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
I wasn't at work that day.
I just did that get taken out of context, maybe?
It sounds like a confessional.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Our friends at Mortgage Right, they've been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available and guide you through every step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply at mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Start first with Madonna and a lawsuit.
Uh-oh.
Now, the lawsuit filed Wednesday is seeking class action status for offenders of all other celebration tour shows in the U.S. that started late. Now, two Madonna fans in New York City suing the pop star for starting her concert late, claiming that they, quote, had to get up early to go to work the next morning.
I knew this was coming. We talked about this because of her late start, that somebody's going to start saying, like, look, if the ticket says 8 o'clock, I can understand there's going to be an opener. Maybe Madonna comes on at 9. But if she's coming on at 11:30... that's ridiculous.
Did I tell you guys about I think I brought this up on the show, 50 Cent Miami Club didn't start till 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Kanye West does that too. I just don't understand. Like, it's just like, it's a power move.
Has she had plastic surgery?
No. She's aging gracefully. Remember that one time for a year, she had a British accent?
Yeah. Yeah, she's weird. In the lawsuit filed on Wednesday in Brooklyn Federal Court, Michael Fellows and Jonathan Hayden said they bought tickets to a December 13th show at the Barclays Center as part of Madonna's celebration tour. The show was advertised to start at 8:30, but the 65-year-old musician did not take the stage until 10:30. By the time the two concert goers left after 1 a.m., they were, quote, left stranded in the middle of the night, confronted with limited public transportation, limited ride sharing, and or increased public and private transportation costs. Now, the late finish on the weeknight show also affected their ability to, quote, take care of their family responsibilities the next day. Then don't go. I mean, I agree it's a power move. This is stupid. It's a stupid lawsuit.
But I don't understand what I'm trying to grasp around. If she has an opener, but in that time being, is there a musician playing? Are you being entertained, or are you just sitting in your seat drinking?
Well, I mean,
like this.
There are big gaps at some point.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
are they having other acts perform, or she just like, I'm not going on. I don't feel right.
Would have driven you crazy. When I took the kids 2018 to see Taylor Swift, the Reputation tour. Before that, and there were 3 acts. I think it was Charlie XCX, and then it was Camila Cabello.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Came out in a Julio jersey, by the way. And then it was Taylor Swift. But we got there really early. The kids wanted to look around. The first time they had been to Mercedes. And I'll never forget, they did the same thing over and over again. They showed a Taylor Swift video. Look What You Made Me... What is it? Look What You Made Me Do?
Yeah. Look What You Made Me Do. Yeah.
They showed that video over and over again. And then they played one song, the Tequila song from the Dan and Shay. I had never heard the song until that concert, but literally they played it like 15 times.
That's why she's kind of a big act. Her behind the scenes don't know what to do.
Well, the first one I ever went to with her was they kept posting. She would come on and say a message every now and then there would be Instagram posts and stuff from the crowd. They had that going on.
I think that's interesting. We're doing the same songs over and over. Like we got to kill. I have 2 songs on my iPad. I can play these 2. Just shuffle.
Yeah, I thought it was really weird because the production was great. I mean, what she actually did for the 2+ hours, but before I thought it was really redundant. We got a woman whose name becomes S. Hart when shortened in email addresses, has warned parents to think twice before naming their kids. Now, when I saw this, Rocky, I had to look at it a couple of times before it kind of hit to me.
I got an email from Shart.
Yeah, Sam Hart here, 27, has had the unfortunate fate of her name being shortened to S. Hart in her company email addresses. Now, the issue led to many uncomfortable email exchanges with HR and has made her fear for her employment ability.
That's stupid, but
this is really dumb.
Yeah.
This
You're the one
Sam,
that created the account.
Communications professional, to urge parents to consider carefully how they name their children. Do you think her parents ever even thought about Shart?
You could be Hart.S. You don't have to be S.Shart.
Well, first off, she looks 30. I mean, when did we start doing emails? About the time she was born?
Yeah.
So we didn't know.
Now,
what
Sam
the impact
here
was going to be.
is from Richmond, Virginia. Quote, I think parents should think about it and run different formulas. They should think about monograms, initials, think about all this stuff. I think a lot of parents do, right? Told you guys, I grew up with a buddy, Chris, and his mom was going to name him Nicholas. But I remember him telling us in 2nd grade she didn't because he was afraid, or she was afraid people would call him Nick the Dick.
No.
What was his name now?
It's Chris now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chris the Priss.
No, we just came up with the name. We did not think about any of that stuff. We named after family members. So we did not think about...
And a novelist, right?
And a novelist. Catherine Harper Lee. Catherine, Maggie's mom's name, or grandmother's name, and Harper Lee, and William Carter, Maggie's dad, and Carter's my grandparents' last name. So, no, we didn't put together all that stuff. Or future emails.
Well, I mean, we had somebody named Metallica, somebody named their kid Adolf.
Was that one that was Z-Zap, Bebop, Doobop, Beeple-Zop, Z-Bop, Boobah?
I mean, what did Elon Musk named his kid?
It was like a symbol.
Yeah. How do you even put that into an email address?
Idiotic. Prosecutors have declined to pursue a felony case against a doctor who was arrested for striking her ex-husband with a handful of bread slices that she had soaked with water before throwing them at the 70-year-old victim. Heather Neely, 58, was arrested last month after the altercation inside of a St. Petersburg, Florida house. Neely, a licensed psychiatrist, was charged with battery on a person 65 years or older. This is a third-degree felony. Cops reported that the victim said he was argued with Neely, when she, quote, grabbed a handful of bread from the loaf. The wet bread at the kitchen sink hit him with the soggy slices. When deputies arrived at the house in response to a 911 call from the man, the front of his shirt was wet with several pieces of bread stuck to the shirt.
What an ass.
After being read her rights, Neely, seen right there, reportedly stated that nothing happened between her and the victim, but she could not explain the wet bread in the garbage can of the kitchen. That's Shiv in 15 years?
Yep, maybe, if she lost a little weight. I will tell you what this is. This is like... all right, what city is this in?
This is St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg Police Department reaches deal with Olin Mills for Olin Mills to start taking mugshots.
Yeah.
It's an old Olin Mills.
John, are you really taking a picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let her brawl show, too.
It needs to be taken.
My grandmother would have said back in the day that means she was a little loose. Got to keep that bra strap tucked in, baby.
Now, what started off as an April Fool's Day prank between Burt's Bee and Hidden Valley Ranch has become a reality. The company's ranch-flavored lip balm aims to, quote, bring the craveable flavors of a basket of wings to your favorite lip balm.
Oh, I know what I'm getting one of our coworkers.
See, I think this is turning into a thing where this was obviously a joke, and then people were like, if we put on Twitter, like, hey, Subway's thinking about doing a foot-long cookie. And then just see what the reaction is. Like, I was just a joke. But if people are like, dude, I would totally buy that. This is what this is.
Well, this one's already sold out. Now, in April of 2022, both brands posted to Instagram to advertise a lip balm product with a ranch dressing flavor. While it was later revealed to be a prank, positive reception compelled the companies to reconsider the idea. The $11.99 product is advertised as a, quote, very limited edition, comes in a 4-pack of lip balms teeming with flavor. The set includes not only the classic Hidden Valley Original Ranch, but also buffalo sauce, crunchy celery, and fresh carrot.
That's crunchy celery right there.
Taylor Korn, our social media director, will kill a little ranch. She dips pizza in it. She dips...
Maddie does homemade ranch. Because we had pizza at some point this weekend. But dips the pizza. Is this a new thing with the pizza dipping in the ranch?
No,
pretty good.
I remember people doing it in high school. It's so gross.
I mean, ranch and anything is good together at some point. But I never feel more of a Southerner than when I dip anything in ranch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you talk about just taking gluttony to the gluttonous level.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like, most people dip their wings traditionally in blue cheese. But I prefer the ranch over the blue cheese. So I go ranch, but every time I do it, I feel like, well, this is Jimmy Trailer Park.
I like the blue cheese a little bit better. But I typically, when they ask, I'll say both.
Yeah.
Finally, we've got some actual conspiracy theories. Powerball lottery was created to catch time travelers. Have we caught one yet with this?
You don't know.
How do you catch them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you figure if this guy won the lottery, then maybe he knew the numbers.
He knew the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Well played.
Another one, Princess Diana was murdered because she was a descendant of Jesus.
Wow.
That explains a lot.
They're always out to get the family tree there.
Now, how about this one? Lindsay Lohan had a twin sister who played the twin in The Parent Trap, but between filming and the release, twin died in a car accident, so they marketed the film to make you think Lindsay played both the roles.
Just for that film. She had a twin for that film. You didn't know that?
Did not.
No.
This is the best one I've heard. Yeah, these are actual conspiracy theories. There were no gunmen in Dallas. JFK's head just did that. It's called the no bullet theory.
Well, you wouldn't have an idea.
Oh, that was the worst one of all.
Spontaneous combustion. It's had to have happened at some point, right?
Worst migraine ever.
But the chances it happens to a president.
Oh,
in a
but the
parade.
relief when it bursted, though. Oh, that relief.
Because do you ever feel like when you've got a migraine or a really bad hangover headache that sometimes you can find a spot in your head and just press on it and it feels better?
Mm-hmm.
The more jaded and cynical you get, the older you get. This is one that I guess some people might actually believe. Skittles and M&Ms were secretly created by Big Pharma to condition kids to the idea of associating pill-shaped candies as delicious, so they are subconsciously predisposed to being addicted to pills as an adult.
I can believe it.
I really could.
Yes.
Pills are white, though. Majority of pills are white.
And then finally, COVID lockdowns were there to replace all birds with bird-like drones to spy on the public.
Now, this one I can get behind.
We got to shut down the world
Why? Don't go outside.
So we can get rid of all the birds.
Put drones in them.
And put drones in them. By the way, developing news, In-N-Out, and this is coming from their official account, In-N-Out has officially decided to close their first location ever in Oakland near the airport. The decision has been made due to the high crime activity and car break-ins in the area.
I was going to say, ironically, In-N-Out is starting to spread. They had I guess their belief was, we are not going to franchise further than we can actually, our distribution point, I forgot where it was, but we've got to make sure everything's fresh, so we don't want to take it too big. But now they're moving this way, and I think the first Nashville location opens this year, but they're actually doing distribution in Nashville.
We are, I am 0-2 on eating In-N-Out burgers on Alabama game days. I had one in 99 or 2000, Alabama UCLA, and now this one.
So will you not eat In-N-Out on Alabama game day again?
I don't think it was my fault, but I may skip it on game day. I'll eat it on non-game
was good,
days.
though.
I can't wait till one gets closer. It was very good that day. All right, that is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Locally owned and operated. Mortgage Right standing by to help you today. You can call 205-815-9200 or NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
Set the table for the week in college basketball coming up. What happened this weekend and the last-minute college football news you need to know. That's coming up in our final segment right here on The Next Round.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay zero balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, legacycreditunion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details, federally insured by the NCUA.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Rhoback. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you'll ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at Rhoback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at Rhoback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is Rhoback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at Rhoback.com.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
When it comes to great clothing, I love comfortable clothing that I can also wear to the golf course or anywhere I go. I get that from Rhoback. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Whether it is the softest hoodies you'll ever find, they're great quarter zips, the polos, the pants, the crew necks, you can get them all at Rhoback.com, and we're helping you save. Your first order at Rhoback.com can get a 20% discount when you use code TNR20. That is Rhoback.com, code TNR20 for 20% off your initial order at Rhoback.com.
Our Oatie's sound of the day is from the Lions. Dan Campbell gets asked about how he was received 3 years ago yesterday when he was announced as a head coach to now having the Lions in the NFC Championship game.
Odie Stafford.
Though there was a lot of like, what did the Lions hire with this guy? Do you hear that, Dan, and what do you think?
You're probably one of them. To each his own. We're going to the NFC Championship game with that group of guys. All right, and they love football. They play football, and that's what they respect. And they respect their teammates, and not anything else. And you know, when you're able to, you know, to care more about the person next to you than your own, you know, about yourself, you can do some pretty special things, and that's where we're at with this group.
That's Dan Campbell there, and you know, since Wetzel brought it up, he is a big guy. They love football. They play football. He's a smart guy, but he doesn't come off that way in news conferences.
See ball, get ball.
Yeah, Oatie's brings you the sound of the day. A little bit more football news here before we get done.
Yeah, 2 locations, the original in Crestline, the newest location in Homewood. We were at the Edgewood location this past Thursday night. Great food from Rodney Davis, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. And remember, every Wednesday at the original location in Crestline, it's Oatie's Team Trivia. Come join us. We start up about 8 o'clock. Get in, see Will Haver. 2 locations. Go see that great staff. Oatie's Tavern, the original in Crestline, now Edgewood.
Well, first off, by the big play in the what looked like it was going to be a big play in the Chiefs and the Bills game, the fumble through the end zone. Everyone is saying the NFL Rules Committee is going to look at that in the offseason, and there's a big push to start administering that fumble like you do anywhere else on the field. It would go back to the point it was fumbled from if the other team doesn't gain possession before it goes through the end zone. So that would take away what seems to be the most penalized moment in football.
I mean, look, that was backbreaking. I mean, that game was over. Cole fumbles it through the end zone. I didn't know if they were going to overturn it. When you looked at it, it did. I mean, it was so bang, bang, but, I mean, right before thigh hits, ball comes out. So I think they got the call right. But that flipped it around where Buffalo actually had a shot then. I think the call is probably way too much. I don't know. Maybe if you fumble it out, put it back on your 20. So move it back 20 yards as a penalty as opposed to, you know, giving it to the opposing team on the 20.
Washington and Dallas now the longest streaks to not make a conference championship game now that the Lions have been there. 1991 for the Commanders, 95 for the Cowboys, that since they've been just to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, that's hard to stomach. I mean, those are 2 great fan bases back in the 80s. I mean, some of the best. And then into the 90s, what Dallas was able to do. I mean, if you would have said when Dallas played in that Super Bowl and won it in 95, hey, they will not be back in an NFC Championship game all the way to the year of 2024, you would have said there's no way.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Detroit is the only team left now that we've down to the Final Four in the NFL that has never played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people, if you don't have, I think everybody is anti-Kansas City, except for the teenage girls and Kansas City fans. I think majority of people that don't have a team are probably pulling for Detroit just for the storyline. And I think the NFL, a perfect scenario for the NFL would be Kansas City with the ridiculous storyline and Detroit based on the fact they've never been to a Super Bowl. I think that is a Super Bowl matchup the NFL wants.
But the favorites, of course, Ravens and the 49ers. By the way, if the Ravens win the Super Bowl, pretty cool that Harbaugh would be the champions of football, college football, and the Super Bowl in the same year. That double-double is still in effect.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? That these guys coached against each other in a Super Bowl, and now that's the situation you would have. But, I mean, the way the Ravens are playing right now, it's kind of hard to believe, too. So hosting the AFC Championship game, they haven't hosted an AFC Championship game since they were the Colts.
1971. And, God, what was his name? I think he was an LSU quarterback.
Burt Jones?
Burt Jones. I think he was
the quarterback in 71?
I think so. Maybe not. Maybe that's Johnny Unitas.
That's hard to believe. I would say
it is. It's Johnny Unitas.
Probably 80% of our listeners weren't born in 1971.
Yeah. I mean, you were not, right?
No.
Yeah. That's crazy. So 90 So 99.9% of our staff was not.
Right.
Only me.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Basketball we'll end up with here. This Auburn team that we've talked about a couple of times in this light, they're so deep, and they're getting ready to go play Alabama. And if you look at KenPom, Auburn's 5, Alabama's 8th. It's a battle of 2 top 10 KenPom teams. But this Alabama team is in need of a win against a physical defensive team just to prove that they can do it. And Nate Oats said after the loss on Saturday, this was sort of the time when Tennessee exposed them last year that they sort of grew up and became the team that ended up being the regular season champion. I'm looking forward to Wednesday night. But there is no doubt in my mind Auburn is the better team right now, and them and Tennessee are the best 2 teams in the SEC. It seems like this matchup is a lot like the one Alabama just faced on Saturday, just that it's at home and not on the road.
Yeah, look, for the metrics, this Alabama schedule has been incredible, but you've got to win some of these games. You know, it's one thing to play Purdue, Arizona, Creighton, to lose those games, to lose to Tennessee. The way they lost to Tennessee, Alabama fans, obviously that's unacceptable. You can't get dominated like that where you're down 27 at one point. But you got to, sooner or later, if you want to take this team seriously, for them to be able to make a run in March, you've got to be able to beat some of these top 10, top 15 teams.
Yeah, and KenPom is a reference all the time, ahead of teams like Illinois and Duke and Creighton who beat them. Alabama's ahead of them in the KenPom. Baylor who beat Auburn. Alabama's ahead of them. Baylor's 15. Kentucky, who seems to be getting stronger. Alabama's 8 spots ahead of them. Marquette, who's really good.
What is Bama projected right now, about a 6 or a 7?
Well, they're 8 in the KenPom. I don't have the net in front of me. I don't usually look at the net, but they were a 3 going into the weekend, around the 3 neighborhood. But, I mean, truthfully, unless they change the way they play defense, they're going to be between 7 and 10 to me.
Yeah, so which makes them a bubble team.
Yeah. I mean, that they've just got to get better and more consistent defensively. But for Auburn, they're so deep, too, and I keep waiting for them not to play 9, 10, 11 players on the reg. But
that's not going to happen.
I don't think that's not going to happen.
Well, I think that's the strength of this Auburn team is the bench. And, again, when they go 40, I mean, how many times have they gone 40-plus this year? Just the bench.
Oh, I mean, it was Stephen Pearl was on with us last week, and I think he said – that Auburn's bench was, with all the metrics and everything, the second best scoring 5 in college basketball.
Yeah.
Because they've been on a roll a little bit. So it's 6:30 Wednesday night. Auburn in Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. There's no trophy they hand out anymore at the basketball game, but the place will be packed. I'm not worried about a sellout. I'm just wondering how many Auburn fans will work their way and pay the ticket to get in, and how reluctant or easy Alabama fans who have a ticket give up that ticket to an Auburn fan.
Well, I mean, look, it's pretty much common sense. If you live in Birmingham, it's easier to get to Tuscaloosa than it is Auburn. So you've got a ton of Auburn fans in the Birmingham area, and this is going to be an easier ticket to get than you would have to pay in Neville.
Yeah, if you're not a season ticket holder,
Yeah.
It's a cheaper ticket to go see them on the road than it is at home these days. It'll be interesting to see if Auburn takes over Coleman Coliseum. Coleman takeover, hashtag Coleman takeover is what Troy is throwing out over there. So looking forward to that one coming up on Wednesday night. A couple of good basketball games tonight. Wake Forest in North Carolina, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Cincinnati and Kansas, 9 o'clock on ESPN as well. You get a couple of those big basketball games.
Real quick in the chat, Seth's asking if would the Rams hire Brandon Staley back if Raheem Morris leaves? Yes. I think that would be the obvious go-to. Brandon Staley had a number 1 overall defense under Sean McVay, so if Raheem Morris does get one of these jobs that he's interviewed for, I think almost every one of them,
you would take him back.
I think Staley comes back.
Yeah. It'll be fun to watch how this NFL stuff shakes out, the coaching searches. As Dan Wetzel pointed out earlier, a much slower pace the NFL is when hiring a coach. And he's right about the college coaching hires. You don't like going seconds without a coach. That you hire coaches before coaches even come and really take a look at the place they're they're being hired. No way Kalen DeBoer had ever been on campus in Tuscaloosa.
No, not a chance. But you know what? I mean, with everybody poaching the roster, you got to quickly make the move.
Yeah, so it worked out well. Final thought today, Rockstar. I know the answer to this, but are you an Applebee's guy?
I can't tell you the last time I went to Applebee's.
Me either, and that's the problem. So they've got now a yearly subscription.
Oh, good.
You pay $200 for the year, and 52 times a year, you get up to $30 off your ticket. So you do the math, 52 times 30, and that's
$1,600.
$1,600. So you get $1,600 of value in 52 visits for $200, an annual subscription with our friends at Applebee's.
Problem is you got to go to Applebee's 52 times.
I can't think of where one is.
There's one in Chelsea. There's one by the Oak Mountain Amphitheater. So I had I worked at the Applebee's that used to be in Brookwood Mall, and I remember that they were pretty light on IDing back in the day, and so if you had a decent underage ID, you could go there and drink. But yeah, I was a bar back at that Applebee's.
Yeah.
I used to like Applebee's back in the day when the Fern restaurants were just on the scene.
Oh, they had Chris Berman.
Did they?
He did
the back.
Yeah,
Right?
he did like baby back ribs or back.
It was something like two meals together, something like 2 for $2 or something.
Back to back.
2 for 20. What do you think?
I missed the Salsa Club roll-up was my go-to back in the day.
One in Hoover still on 150. One in Fultondale. Bob said strong drinks at Applebee's.
They had the apple draft too, $1.
$1 for the Apple Teenies.
That's the show today. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget to go check out Tyler Booker if you missed him on our video and audio podcast. Wherever you get that, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.